I was just talking to someone in the Discord. Actually, they said they got their LUMRA signed, not by the artist who drew it, but by the actor who played the bear in the movie Cocaine Bear.
Oh my god! That's so funny.
Much better.
Yeah, he said he like sent him a letter in the mail and everything.
That's so good. Well, I'm excited to help you. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. People are going to love this. Whatever we put together is going to be sick. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, confidence levels are high, dude.
We had a mood board. We were talking about it. What are some of the things? Let's see if I can remember correctly. This is just, I'm going to pull this off the dome.
Yeah, crack it off.
If I remember correctly, we said, here, I'm going to do some better. I want to, yeah. One sec. This is how real artists do it. You take my bank statement from Wells Fargo. You get the envelope. You turn it over. This is prime artistic real estate. And then we sketch out a playmat shape on the back. Unique dimensions, 14 by 24. We know that we want the central focus of this to be LUMRA, right? The bear.
Yeah.
We'll get our big bear on here. She's roaring. She's bellowing even, right? But there's also some things we want incorporated in this, which are, you said like a cobra, right?
Mm-hmm.
With like Nissa riding it.
Yeah.
No, that's something brought up.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a cobra here.
Somebody said it was probably Chib. It was Chib.
Oh no, it probably was Chib. Dude, I can't get the headphones. Chib is like the agent of chaos. And then we wanted the blossoming tortoise in here, correct?
Oh yeah, iced out.
Iced out,
man.
Oh yeah, he'll with big ass chain, blossoming tortoise, tons of blossoms on his back. You know, we have the blossoming tortoise. And what are some? We talk about a Shia. A Shia is like hard to draw, but it's some sort of elemental like creature.
Well, Ashaya and Six is Ashaya and Six as the Happy Tree Friends. Are you familiar with the Happy Tree Friends?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Oh man,
what is it,
Tim? I think that'd be real up your alley.
What is it?
Happy Tree Friends was a horrifying animated series like on YouTube and other places too. I'm sure that was very popular when I was like 12. Which I think is about the right age range for me to have been. It looks like a real cutesy, happy kids show. But then by the end, but then by the end of the episode, every single person has like died in an insane bloody fashion and their brains are out and their broken bones are on the screen and all that kind of stuff.
You'd like it, dude. You'd be into it.
Tim, I think it'd be very up your alley. You should watch an episode of Happy Tree Friends sometime. Whoa, we've got another hand in here. Allie, what are you doing? Oh. Baby Champion 1993 Happy Tree Friends is a crazy reference. What an unlocked memory, right? I saw that like in their commission, and it like unlocked a door in my brain and it opened up and I just saw a bunch of cute dudes with their bones cracked in half in every limb, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I'd hid that somewhere. Man, that's another thing that I forgot existed.
Well, let's get cracking on this. Let's start with the bear. And even though, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah, sure can.
So, if we're looking at the art of LUMRA, there's a couple versions of it. I love LUMRA.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about LUMRA is like the things that like make this like kind of iconic is like the bear. It's got like these crazed eyes that already does seem like the bear. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like this these like iPhones like embedded in. I think that's in all the art. Am I wrong? Or am I right? I think so. There's like you said that kind of like artistic Oh yeah. Yeah, that one, like the storybook one. That's like right? Good art too, though. Yeah. So this one definitely has like, so in the art direction, it must have been like, oh yeah, you want the plants in the bear's coat. So this one's got like green eyes, but here even you can see there's like looks like
some sort of like boughs of trees in the coat. And then if we look at this one, beep, boop, bop, boop, beep, beep, beep. This one's still here too. So that must have been part of the art direction. Look at, there's the bear. That's kind of wild. And then again, we have like trees or some sort of like fauna in the quote. They must have said like, oh, we want like thicket or pine needles or birds. Sometimes I try to like interpret like what they were trying to say, if I can like decipher the art direction. Or a strange language. My phone's probably not even showing up on here, is it?
No, it's doing fine.
Okay, cool. They're like, this is a tooth. This is a claw. So what I want to do is, whenever I'm drawing like a cartoon, even if it's like Ren and Stimpy or something that's like, or like that Happy Tree Friends, right? I still like to get to the source material of like a bear. And I feel like the bear that it's supposed to be is a grizzly bear. It's not a black bear. So I would look up a real picture of a grizzly bear, and then I would work from there. Has anyone ever seen a grizzly bear in real life?
Not me. I've just seen it on TV.
Bears, but I don't know if I've seen a grizzly bear before.
Oh yeah, they're crazy. Look, this is real, dude. They're nutso.
Holy!
I used to live in Montana. They're like so much bigger than you think. They're so much bigger than you think. They're so big. So do we want, the thing is, we want LUMRA, like, do we want her like facing like this kind of look from a bear, or do we want her head in profile? That's the first thing I think about. What are you thinking? Or do you want something like this where she's like from the side? And I think that's definitely where that artist was getting the image from, right? It was probably even like this image.
Vinny, thank you for the gift sub, buddy.
Wait, Vinny's here? What's up, Vinny?
Oh, we've got everyone here.
Oh, what's up, guys? What's going on? So do we want her from the side bellowing, or do we want her from the front bellowing? What do you think? You're the boss. I'm just a lowly artist.
Man, that's too much pressure, dude. I think kind of going back to, we were talking about that original kind of reference, something that's really cool about the Michuro artwork is that you kind of have all these animals kind of getting like blown out of the way as LUMRA is like running towards the artist
head on.
And so I don't know if that would be easier to kind of like showcase all those like little things like the iced out blossoming tortoise, or that kind of side profile.
I appreciate your concern for what's easy, but not to sound like a big dog, but nothing's hard. I'm a professional, man. It's all easy for me. It's not a question of easy or not. I mean, this is what I do, man. I literally, like, this is what I was doing when I was waiting around. I drew another thing. I draw all the time. This is cool. This is give me a Thrascius activation. But like, I'm drawing all the time, man. I love it. I love the challenge too. If it's hard, all the better. So like, I want to like start with the source material of a bear, and then we can go from there. So I think almost like when we did for the Glarb mat, the commander, like as cool as all like the Easter eggs are, this is such a commander centric deck. Am I right? This isn't like this isn't TNT. Like TNT, no one gives a rat fuck about the commanders. Like, come on, it's just like it's a vessel for you to play all the good cards that aren't red. So, but that's not the case with this deck. This deck is all about the bear. We gotta have some snot coming out of the nose, little coke boogers. I'm not glorifying drugs, but also, I mean, I think coke is not as evil as people make it out to be.
I mean, it's more of like a lifestyle than just a drug, you know? Like,
yeah. It just means like, it's just like annoying people who talk fast or something. So we got this. You got the big lips. I think bears, when you start drawing bears, you realize like how dog-like they are. They have big old slobbery lips, big jowls, and then before you got the teeth. But honestly, and we're gonna ham up these fangs, you know what I mean? And then also like a dog, they have these like funny ass little like front teeth. They're like, oh, you're so scared. Look at those little fucking chiclets. They're like so little and funny. You know what I mean? These little tooth. Big old slobbery tongue. Gold saber tooth drawn. You always make the tongue just a little bit bigger, a little bit slobberier.
Thank you for the follows. Carry my salt and blue Pidgey. Also, JDM Watt and Kev Bomb and Medieval Doc and Nickety Knack. Do we know who that is? And also the Pig Next Door and Baby Champion. All the follows. Thank you all, everyone.
You mentioned
we heard that the LUMRA crew's hanging out tonight, right?
Yeah, dude. It's the right now.
Yeah,
we got a group of at least like 10-ish people.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy.
So
what were you saying? Sorry to cut you off.
You were talking about Glarb earlier. Did you ever get a chance to play him? I don't know if you're a big Sultai guy.
Oh, I love him. Are you facetious? I love Sultai. Are you kidding me?
It's the guy in chat, JDM. He's the guy who actually just won Snowy Summit with Glarb, dude.
Oh, hell yeah.
Way to go. Logan Doan. Logan Docs, dude. There's Docs, dude. No, I'm just kidding. Logan, what's up? I know I'm the keeper. I've said this before. I'm the keeper of everyone in Magic's address. I know where everyone lives.
True.
And I mail everyone everything. I'm like, oh, Logan, at blank, Colorado, blank. But it's fun. Glarb's awesome. Shout out to Logan. Congrats on the win. The deck's sweet. Not surprised because Sultai's good. Deck is really good. I played for a little bit and it was excellent. It's just an excellent deck.
What are you playing? What are you playing these days? I mean, obviously,
Tetramose.
Oh, how's that been?
Hard, but really, I think it's excellent. I think it is like complete, like LUMRA. It's like there is almost no analog, and it is insanely powerful, but insanely hard.
It's so you're not part of the Hashaton. You're not part of that,
dude. No, I'm a hipster, dude. I will. If even if it was the best thing in the world, I'd be like Hashaton. No, over here we play blah blah blah. I would like find something else to do. That's just my contrarian attitude. It doesn't serve me. Don't worry, it's not a virtue, but it is the way I am. I wish I was different, but I do like, because part of CH is for me is like, it is an expression of my creativity, and it means I just want to play something different. You know, like if I had to play Blue Farm, I'd play like older tracks over it or something. You know what I mean? Just like I'd do anything. I'd be like, oh yeah, you're just playing Blue Farm. Like, oh, I'm playing Ishai Rehan.
Ishai Rehan, let's go.
Yeah, dude, I can't help myself. I was talking to Cal about this. It's like certain Magic players like have that quirk where they got to play something else.
No, that was
I did. Sometimes you can do good though. If you just find cards you like in the 99, you can have fun that way. But you can have a little of that. You're playing this deck, so you got to have a little bit of that. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, I mean, I feel like in this modern meta, everyone has to have an answer to like Breach. And sure, you have endurance, but might I interest you in Pit of Offerings?
What's that? Tell me what's that?
Dude, it's this random ass common land that came out in Ixalan. It enters tapped, but you exile three cards from any graveyard upon ETB. So I don't know about you, but goodbye LED, goodbye Brain Freeze, get out of here.
Dude, that I like that. Yeah, I love creativity. We also have to look at other iconic bears like Yogi Bear. So we're doing this. We have to remember, even if you look at Yogi Bear or Winnie the Pooh, somewhere behind that was an actual drawing of a bear, and they will show you like what features deserve to be accentuated. So we know as a Yogi, it kind of beefs up the ears. So we got to beef up our ears, and then Yogi also accentuates the bears like this kind of like differentiation between like the snout and the head, which almost gives them this like weird kind of like Homer Simpson looking thing. And then we have this like cleft in the lip, but we realize what's important about a bear is we have to, even though in the real illustration of the bear, right, the cartoon, even in this drawing here, they make more of the nose than the nose really occurs.
Yeah.
In like in this, like look at here, the nose transitions, like it's less pronounced, right? It kind of just like fades into it. But we're not just drawing like a bear, we're also drawing, when you're drawing a cartoon, it's like the symbol of a bear. And sometimes you can make something look uncanny or have like a visual fidelity to the likeness of the actual object. But if that actual object doesn't have that might not have as much cultural currency as like a symbol or a signifier, like Yogi Bear or Winnie the Pooh or something like that.
Dude, I'm in love with how this is looking so far.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So we get this crazy bear, but again, like the real bear, the jowl is kind of, the snout is here and then this goes into the fur. But if we're doing like the idea of a bear, like this is pretty good here. You can tell maybe they did look at a similar reference image,
Yeah.
They definitely make more of the nose as its own object. They do here. I actually think they did look at this image. It's kind of funny. But we look at Yogi Bear, we got that pronounced nose, and then I say we had a little bit of like the uncanny bear, just like funnier to me.
So I've got a random question for you. It's
what's up? Let her rip.
Me and my friends in college like yapped about this late into the evening one time, and it's important to preface both of these are bad options, but and you can on this too, corn dog, if you want. If you had to fight a bear, would you rather have a bat or a knife?
What were the options?
A bat, like a baseball bat, or a knife? I mean, we'll say it's not like a butter knife. It's like a real knife, Crocodile Dundee style.
Man,
but
I think I gotta say, I gotta jump out here. I think I'd rather have the bat because then at least I'd have like a foot of range.
It does give you it does buy you more time than a knife does, right?
Definitely.
You want me to explain why corn dog's wrong?
Obviously.
Okay, corn dog. The only reason you want the bat is like that's the illusion. You feel like you have a chance because the bear will close in on you far quicker than you think. A bat will never keep a bear from you if it wanted to attack you, right? If you, the thing is like you are going to fight a bear and a bear will close the gap with you. Okay. They will close space around you. So it will become close quarter. The bear is way stronger, way faster, way strong. It's just like it will impose its will on you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Given that, your only chance of survival would be when you're closest to like
knife
cut it in a vital place.
Fair enough.
The answer is the knife, even though it's not a good option. It's all bad, but it's definitely.
But don't they have like a crazy thick like hide? Like, do you think you can even get that?
Yeah, I've seen the movie The Revenant. It would happen. If I know anything about fighting bears from the movie The Revenant, I feel like yes.
Dude, I too like watching documentaries.
That movie was sick, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dude. You got it. Speaking of bears,
yeah, I go back and forth.
Also pets.
Like on one hand,
what would you choose?
I believe in my capacity to like be too annoying to eat with a baseball bat, but also like I don't know if this isn't like some deathmatch scenario where all I have to do is kill it first, then I think maybe the knife. I don't know. They're both.
Well, the bat, it's so strong. You could never hurt a bear with a bat. You just couldn't. I mean, like when you see how big they are, like a grizzly bear, especially. A black bear would just be afraid of you.
The chat,
but a grizzly bear is the size of.
The chat is so split on this.
The chat's wrong. The answer is the knife because the bat is so. It's like a bear is so big, guys. If anyone has seen like been out west, dude, like you think you know how big a grizz is, and then you see one, it's the size of like a fucking like a Kia. They're huge.
I made a poll in chat. Everyone, you can vote. You can do your vote. I assume everyone was going to be, man. Chat's hyped about this. Little Minish loves the way that you're talking about the decision to caricature certain elements. Long Lemon says, "God, this is incredible so far. So awesome to watch the process." Let's see. Kev Bomb said, "Dude, you're so good at sketching." Kevit Win said, "Oh, this is coming out sick." There we go.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but get out of here, girl. Hold on, Jim.
I think Vinny's got it right in chat. My mooses are actually the scary ones.
Dude,
You gotta watch out for those guys.
I've heard they are so temperamental.
They're so temperamental, and I don't think a lot of people realize how. Bunny Knight, thank you for the Prime subscription. Appreciate it a lot. I don't think a lot of people realize how big a moose is. I think a lot of people see mooses and they're so huge, and they just like kill things for sport. It's crazy.
Holy cow.
They're terrifying. Nate says moose are like bear on stilts. What's up, Nate? All right. Our poll is running out of time a little bit. I think a bear could fight a moose with a bat, though. JM Goody said, "Oh, look, it's Tim's weekly get Jacob through his shift stream." Good to have you with us, Jacob. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you every week. Yeah, Shayla, I think, has the right opinion here, realistically. I feel like either way you're fucked fighting a grizzly. A knife has a slim chance of getting a lucky hit. I think that's probably about the right take.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's like because you're so outmaxed, you just got to go all in on that like little chance, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's fair. Bunny Knight asks, Tim, if you're going to be at the Hunter Burton Memorial Tournament. I assume no. It's a sick tournament, though. Tim, you're muted. I think Cheeb muted you. Like just on Discord, you're muted.
Dude, she did do that. That's crazy. I've been talking this whole time.
I was like, man, he's not even responding to someone asking him if he's going to be at an event. Okay.
Oh, I said, is that the one in Texas? Sorry.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's in DFW.
When is it?
I think it's pretty soon. Let me see. Yeah, it's in 23 days.
When? Like 23? Like what?
23 days.
What's that, March what?
What's the date? March 14th to 16th.
I kind of want to go. Seems like it'd be sweet.
Hunter Burton Memorial is cool.
You're like a tourney grinder, right, Tim? I think I've seen you.
I do like
16 report.
Oh, yeah, man. I was about to say, I don't know if they have a CEDH tournament, but then I saw this 2025 CEDH announcement.
Yeah, I think Comedian just did like a small like rep for them on his last video.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Guaranteed minimum prize of 10 revised dual lands, and if they hit a certain player cap, they will add an unlimited time twister for first.
Oh, I love that. I'd like to win that.
All right.
I could win that.
I know, it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. It's a 10K.
I want to go.
All right. Maybe it'll happen. Little Minish.
If you're interested in having me there, hit up Kevin Cal. We can try to make it happen.
Yeah, we can try to make it happen. Question from Little Minish. Quick question for Tim. How do you feel about a new Playmat commission? Magda Dwarves on bikes doing Road Warrior. Magda as a Morton Joe? Question mark.
Ooh.
I don't know what any of that means. The answer is yes. 100%, dude. I'd love to do shit like that. Yeah, why not? Magda's a good ass deck.
Cue Ball, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. We appreciate it. Oh, this is Cue Ball. I can never pronounce this. I can never pronounce any username correctly. Oh, Cue Ball's gifted sub has outed Eric English as a watcher. What's up, Eric?
Eric, what's going on, dude?
Cool Ball. Look, it looks like it says Cool Ball. Yeah, Knife won the poll, 72% to 28%. I admit defeat. First time chatter, also named Josh. I know that guy. Wow, these are some cool people. Welcome in. Little Minish, to take your question slightly more seriously here for a second. We would love to talk to you about a commission. If you are interested, email me, cal@caljones.com. I can give you kind of some of the specifics and we can work something out.
How far, Eric, has this been worth it to you?
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful, man. I'm gonna have dreams about this playmat tonight, man.
Oh, dude, doesn't it look cool? I think the most important thing is like we just gotta get the face right, because it's like anything with cartoons. The face is everything, you know, with caricature, and then we can go from there. But this bear looks like this LUMRA looks like amped as fuck, you know.
Man, also named Josh in the chat. What a guy. Welcome, Murph. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, Murph, what's up, dude?
Murph, I hope you're ready to record our podcast as soon as this is done.
Dude, nobody has the work ethic of the corn dog. It's an impressive thing.
I'm only on my second podcast recording of the day, dude. Last Tuesday I did 3.
Dude,
That's so much. Me and Logan have started doing some like content, and I gained so much respect. Yeah. It was a small channel called like Critical EDH. It started with him doing his tournament breakdown, and then we just like built Sisay or stuff like that. I've gained so much respect for like Magic content creators. I feel like
it's so much work, right?
How much work goes into it. But Logan puts so much effort into like the technical side of things, and I just show up and yap, bro. I don't deserve him.
That's important. That's important though. You need one person who's like like in the minds with like the technical shit, and then you need someone else who could just. It's like as Dylan said, he's like, I knew I wanted to do something with Cam because I just needed some loud guy who would just do all the talking.
Who would just talk? Yeah, exactly.
I did like yell out.
Yeah, his perennial problem is finding ways to keep me from peaking all the mics.
Oh, sure. Thank you. No, thank you for the follow Big Jesus. It puts us at our follower goal of 270. Thank you very much, everyone. Sorry, continue on.
Oh, I was going to say, Minch is also the same for the Build-A-Bear Discord. He is a big Magda guy, and he has just done like so much. He's just done so much for us over the last like 2 or 3 weeks, just helping us get things organized and stuff like that. Super, super cool guy.
Yeah, it's essential to have people like that's my best leadership advice for anyone is just like allow people to do the things they love doing. You know what I mean? Because then they'll have limitless energy to do it. You know, like find people that'll do all the different parts of something. Because like Cal knows, like I have lots of gaps in my skill set, but like. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm extremely talented at the things I'm really good at, you know. And then if I can just surround myself about people who have, you know, complementary talents, like you can do some awesome stuff, you know. And that's why I've been able to do more work like this, like because here I am, like I've always been able to draw like a crazy psycho bear, but I've never had someone like Cal around me who can like really help, and Kev, and like be organized and help set up these streams. Like I never would have done this without the help of these guys. So you see what I mean? It's like everyone really has a part in the body of good work.
Yeah, I've only had a few interactions with you, Cal, but you seem to be like on top of your shit, dude. You seem like the guy who like always gets to the airport an hour early.
I am. I fear. It drives my wife up the wall. She's like, we could walk in 2 minutes before the flight takes off. I'm like, we got to be there 3 hours early. Give me your passport. You're not handling your passport. I am.
You got to lay eyes on the gate, man.
I try my best. I try to be. So it's not really. It's less like a super organized thing, and it is neuroses. It is a bit more of a neurotic thing, but it works out as me being It is a bit more. It works out a bit more as being really organized. All right, we've got some action from chat. We've got 50 viewers right now. This is an all-time high for sure. What's up, everybody?
Whoa, hell yeah.
Welcome in. Wow, we've got some great commentary coming in from this Murph guy. Wow, Tim, this is actually super sick. Cal is one of the best people I know, and what a great guy. Thank you, Murph. Thank you, Murph. Appreciate it so much. Appreciate it a lot.
We appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate you.
Let's see.
Thanks, Murph, for tuning in.
Yeah, Murph, thanks for popping in. I know you've been trying to make it I know you've been trying to make it into one for a while, but usually can't. Reactive. Thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. All right.
Reactive. What's up, dude?
We have a formal question from chat, Blue Pidgey. I will get to that in a second, but first I got to tell you about Vinny's new idea, Tim. Vinny is hitting me up here. So he wants an Atraxa mat. He wants you to draw him an Atraxa mat.
Oh yeah.
But he would like you to do it in a different aspect ratio so he can get it made as a 6-foot table mat.
Holy cow, that's awesome,
dude! Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So that's idea. That's the dream. That's the dream for Vinny. All right, dude, see, Vinny was so hype about this yesterday. He called me on Discord. He was like, "Gow. I know we've been talking about Atraxa, but let me tell you the vision."
Dude,
Wait, more than Atraxa, he says. All the iconic commanders. Jesus Christ, Tim, Vinny, what's your budget? We'll have to talk about that one, buddy. LUMRA's a girl, if it matters. I didn't know that.
Yeah, LUMRA's a girl. She's a lady.
Thank you again for another gifted sub, Reactive. We appreciate it very much. 13 subs.
Dude, Reactive, thank you so much.
All right, going back to the question from Blue Pidgey. Blue Pidgey asked, how do you pick what your next piece will be?
In this regard, I pretty much am just solely, unless I really feel compelled, like there's something I want to do that like has to, like I feel like something's like, I made those hashed-on triggers myself because I was like, people are going to need these. My friends need them. I should just draw this because I feel inspired. Even though I'm not going to play hashed-on, I knew that like people would need these weird tokens, and that's like what I love about Wizards is that like there is room for customization and for the community to generate certain things. Where like there are game objects you need that are important to our format that Wizards does not. They don't come in a booster pack, but we need something to represent like Ristic triggers or something, and that's where like we come in as artists in the community. So that's what. So in that regard, like the Nadu triggers like that, I just like strike while the iron's hot, and that's a big thing. Is like I work all the time. I'm drawing every single day. So you got to like just have a good work ethic. But beyond that, with this other work, it's just pretty much I just have an endless. I'm blessed to say that I have an endless supply of people hitting us up to have work done. And I try to do good work by everybody so that people have a positive experience and that they want more, and that people want me to draw stuff for them. So it gives me a great sense of satisfaction to like help bring these concepts to life. Because here's like an example. There's all these people who love LUMRA and they love this deck, but like if they were waiting for like, Wizards to like produce merch for their deck, and they'd be waiting a while. I feel the same way about the decks I love. You know what I mean? It's like that's not like they're never gonna do it.
So do you feel like
people want
projects that you work on kind of in and of themselves push you to be like headed in the direction you want to be headed as an artist, or do you feel like you kind of have to like take on yourself, like, oh, I really want to focus on this aspect of drawing, or like, do you feel like you have to extend effort to like keep growing, or do you feel like that just has kind of happened over the course of your career anyways?
Oh, good guy. That's a good question. I mean, I just think every new project for me, I think there's, in every drawing, there's something unfulfilled or unsatisfied in every drawing I do,
which is what brings me to the next drawing. And it's not like a frustration or a certain kind of like artistic ennui or anything like that. But I would say that like, there are certain things that I will get right in this drawing that I was working on in a prior drawing that I didn't really completely, totally execute to standard I wanted. And there's certain things that are going to come up in this drawing that I will probably, certain aesthetic problems that I will be working out for many drawings to come that will arise out of this. And that's just the nature of things. You know, Hemingway would say like, he liked to go to bed dissatisfied with the manuscript, you know, because he felt too satisfied with his sentences. He might not come to the page.
Interesting.
You know?
That's super fascinating to hear. Do you ever feel like, does that feeling of like being on like a treadmill that's like not slowing down, does it ever like keep you in the motivation, or do you feel like that's that drive that like desire is what keeps you coming back?
Yeah, it keeps me going back. Like the drawing I just did of like the demonic tutor, in many ways I was really satisfied with it. The demonic tutor is the Chicago Bulls for MagicCon Chicago. But there's some things where I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm getting at something I want to accomplish, but there's something else that comes up out of it where I'm like, oh yeah, like this aspect of the figure, or this aspect of like how I do font, or this aspect of typeface is something I want to resolve better the next one, or this aspect of like how I did the scroll work. I'd like to come back to this. I think I could do it better. Or this aspect of, like I was doing this font for a playmat that hasn't been released yet, but like I was using like different Western fonts, and then late in the project, I was like, oh man, like I should really I did like an old type Western font that kind of looks like, you know, if I was writing the LUMRA L, it would look like, you know.
Yeah, bring back the envelope.
Oh, dude,
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
like that's so cool.
Like old West font, you know, and like yeah. So like LUMRA would be written like, you know what I'm saying, like the old Denver Broncos font or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, like that.
Yeah.
And then later on the thing, I was like, oh hell yeah! I would just like put bullet holes in it, and it looked so good, like almost like the whole thing was shot up. It looked excellent, and I was like, oh yeah. It was like a late thing. I was like, oh, I wonder if I could fuck with that again, bring that back. Like this one right now, I'm like, I really want to like play with like the fur and like the shagginess of the bear, and also like something like there's a roundness to the bear, and that this kind of roundness is actually coming from the direction of the fur is kind of adding the contour lines to like what tells us that there's a roundness to the bear head.
Yeah, I've always been so impressed. I'm like not super artistic. The ability to like capture the depth of a 3-dimensional object on like a 2-dimensional representation of something is just endlessly fascinating to me.
Yeah, a lot of that's come with it's called cross hatching, this term. So this lines, and you can use the lines to show directionality. Like I use these lines, and you could tell that means this kind of like slope in the brow.
Yeah,
this kind of space in the skull. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, it is fun. It's super cool.
We've got another question from chat here from Bam the 25. Do you plan to do anything for the Final Fantasy set, or nothing catches your interest? The cactus looks so wacky.
Okay, yeah, I don't know much about Final Fantasy at all, except like there's certain in the ecosystem of video games, people. One of the unsung characters of the video game experience of my childhood, at least, and probably still exists, is like there's gamers, but there's also the kids who are like sitting on the couch watching their friends game. And I was like that kid. I would just like watch my buddies playing like Final Fantasy 7, and they're like, do you want to play? I'm like, no. I'm like, you guys are good.
No, I would never.
My friends are like playing like Metal Gear Solid, and I'm just like watching them. You know, I'm not even like backseat. I'm not even like jump. I'm just like watching, not talking. There was, you know, because I was a generation where I didn't have a phone to look at. I just watched my friends play games. I would sit there. I was like, I wasn't in it. I was good at drawing. I was good at other stuff, but I wasn't like, I definitely have gaps in my talents, and one of them I'm not very good at. Like the last game I was good at was probably like Super Metroid. I'm not good at any other games. That's
hilarious. When I was a kid, I was at a Christmas party where some people were playing Super Metroid, And I was the kid that they gave me like a controller that wasn't plugged into. So I thought I was cooking, bro. I was like showing these guys.
So cute.
That's brutal.
So funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I still think about that, man. I think I was like 8 years old or something. That altered the course of my life.
Dude, that's such a thing. That's like the ultimate move to like do someone's little cousin. You're like, yeah, here you go, dude. You can play, and they're like, you're the kind of kid that's like playing, like moving with the thing.
Yeah, I thought it was such hot shit, bro.
Dude, that's so funny. My wife's really, I know I'm supposed to say, she might be embarrassing. My wife's excellent at video games. She's like prodigious at video. It's kind of like fucked up how good she is. She like doesn't even like game that much. And she like showed up randomly to like these different like JRPG speedrunning communities and like PB'd and like crushed all these other people that do it for a living. It's kind of incredible. Like I'm like totally floored. We had an emulator one like really cold winter. Believe it, in Arizona. We were in northern Arizona up near Flag, and it was so cold. So we just had an emulator and we were playing. My friend came over and he's like, "Oh yeah, like this game was so hard. This is a Nintendo game or this game or Earthbound or beat this." And my wife just like beat like Legend of Zelda in like an hour and a half. She like smashed Earthbound. Oh yeah, she like beat like even though all these weird games like Beethoven. I married up, dude. I married up. And like I mentioned it one time to my mother-in-law. She's like, "Oh my god, it's true." When she was a little girl, like the neighborhood kids would just like come over and watch her play video games. She was like the wizard.
That's so funny.
They all loved it. Isn't that funny? Yeah, she doesn't seem like a gamer, but man, she is so. It's just like it must be some sort of like hand-eye coordination thing she's extremely good at. She's also very good at languages. I wonder if there's like something there.
Oh, is she?
I don't know what it is.
Polyglot, like.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I'm not sure. She's incredible at language. Like she speaks like. I'm not exaggerating. Like 12 languages. She's really.
I think once you speak more than 8 or something, you're like a polyglot.
That's
I think.
Oh yeah, she speaks like Kazakh, Mongolian, Russian, like everything.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of it's cool to be around people who just have different brains that work differently than yours.
Everyone in the chat is shouting out all of the video games that we're gonna have to make Tim play. Metal Gear Solid, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's see. There's some other ones here. Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, and Majora's Mask.
The last Zelda game I played was Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time was the last one I played.
That's a classic.
And you know what? I played Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. I thought the game was sick.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if that game's cringe or what, but it was fun for me. Virtual Fighter for PlayStation.
A game that like forever goes hard. I was just playing this game the other day. Granted, I was a little high, but it was still really good. I was playing Tetris.
What's that?
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was like
fair warning, I was super high, but for some reason Tetris was hitting.
You know what's also really great? Original Lays.
You know what I also discovered the other night? I love eating so much food.
Dude, Tetris is sick. You ever played the game Columns?
No.
Oh, that was good.
That sounds really cool game. Is it real?
Yeah, it was like Columns. Was it called Columns? It was the one that was like Genesis's answer to Tetris. It was very interesting. Also interesting, kind of like different Russo-Asiatic soundtrack. Very interesting.
Oh
very cool
yeah.
Game.
Weird.
You know what I'm talking? You're looking it up. Columns. It was strange.
I'm Googling it right now.
Very good.
Don't worry, guys. Murph is on it. He said Columns is a Sega Genesis game. Murph would know that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Murph.
Murph, I was right. That I did say it was Genesis is like the answer.
It definitely looks like scuffed Tetris.
Yeah, that's what it was branded as. It was like when you got in the console, you're like, "Oh, I want to play Tetris." Like, yeah, we don't have Tetris. This is Genesis. You get Columns.
All of it. We have Tetris at home.
It's like Tetris at home. Yeah. Mom, can we get Tetris? No, you get Columns. Mom, can we get you get to play Mario? No, you get Bubsy the cat. This looks good. I'm happy with the way this looks so far.
Dude, I'm
excellent.
sad.
The most important part is the head of the bear. The most important part is the head of the bear. Okay.
Littlest Minish also said you got to do Big Bird as a chocobo.
Oh yeah, chocobo were the birds from that video game, right?
Yeah. You ride them around.
Such a boomer. I'm like, oh, that's the bear. Those are the birds, huh?
Man.
Oh, them's the birds, huh? Oh yeah, I like what's happening.
JM Goody says it looks exactly like the Grizzlies logo.
Oh, dude, yes, Vancouver Grizzlies. That's gotta make up. Oh, dude, the Vancouver Grizzlies don't exist anymore. This was the hardest. This is the hardest logo of all time. Look at that. What the fuck, dude? It's so good. Look at that font. Look at that font. Sorry, LUMRA Discord. You just found the font. It's the 1990s Vancouver Grizzlies font. It is so. This is hard as fuck.
That's wild.
This is
got like the claw marks on it.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh, look at like the hand, the basketball.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh my god. This is so good.
Chat loves the font. It's true.
It's sick. It's so stinking sick.
Are you a big like sports guy?
I'm a big what am I a big sport? Yeah, I do. I love football. I love college football the most. I really, really do. A lot of my friends were like intellectuals who like hate sports. So I was like, I like to be a contrarian. So I'm like, no, I like sports, but I actually do like sports. But some of my friends just like, I don't know. A lot of my buddies like hung out with did not like the part of their identity was like, we don't like sports.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like we like reading books and Magic the Gathering or something. But they were like, we don't like sports. But I like both. I really like sports, you know. But I really like football a lot and college basketball.
The
NBA is okay.
We have
certain years the NBA is good.
We've got several people asking if you have if you have a specific college football team.
Iowa Hawkeyes, 100%. Iowa Hawkeyes, not even close.
Classic.
And I lived in Arizona, so I do think ASU is cool. They're cool. I rooted for them the last couple of years. I liked. I thought Jaden Daniels was a beast for them. I really, really liked him when he was at ASU. I wished him the best when he transferred. Herm had a tough situation there, so I wish him the best, and I'm glad that he's had some success winning the Heisman and going to the NFL and being just totally electric. He's just a special talent. I really like Jaden Daniels, but I really like the Iowa Hawkeyes. Big Cooper DeJean fan. Love Cooper DeJean. Root for him this year.
Everyone is saying respectable choice.
It's a gentleman's take.
I was going to say, I think as long as you didn't say like
Iowa Hawkeyes.
I think as long as you didn't say like Bama or Michigan or Ohio State, then you probably would have cleared most checks.
Isn't it interesting? Yeah, I gotta say that. Yeah, when you tell people, you're like, oh, who do you root for? And you're like, oh, like Iowa, ASU is cool. People are like, okay, all right, okay,
fair enough.
It's just fair enough. Okay.
And meanwhile, I'm like, I live in Columbus, and people are like, fuck you, buddy. Like, please, I don't even watch OSU games. I just live here, but like, we don't care.
Wait, do you root for? Are you a Michigan fan?
No, college sports. I've just never really been able to get into college sports. I don't know what it is about it. I've kind of just always bounced off them. I think if I were gonna, I think if I was gonna cheer for, if I had to sit down and pick a team, it would probably be U of M, but the University of Michigan Kellogg Eye Center saved my life. So
there you go. That's who you're really rooting for.
They rid me of my childhood eye cancer. So I've had a positive relationship with U of M ever since.
That's so cool. Dude, they put the time they earned you as a fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would put me at loggerheads with the rest of my family, though. I'm from an OSU family. I'm from an Ohio family. Dad's a big OSU fan.
What if they actually gave you the cancer just so they could kill you of it?
Holy
Just to
cow.
make you a fan.
Well, let's see. I gained the cancer in South Carolina, but then we didn't find out about it till we lived in Michigan. So maybe it's all
it was like the
South
ga-
Carolina's fault.
Like
I don't know.
Gamecocks or something? Or maybe
What, U of M?
do we? U of M.
They're the Wolverines.
Cool. I mean, I got nothing against them. I got nothing. I'm not like a U of M hater. I'm not a U of M lover. I thought it was funny that they had like a slummy year and beat Ohio State and beat the brakes off of Alabama. It's like kind of funny.
Yeah, and then they had
It's like kind of funny.
yeah. Man, Syracuse, go blue. Auburn.
Wait, who likes Syracuse?
OSU.
Who likes Syracuse?
Kev Bomb.
Oh yeah, Syracuse is a cool team. I think the Orangemen are cool. Like you can't hate Syracuse. That's like
It is so funny talking to Tim about sports teams because Tim does love every sports team, but Tim loves every sports team because he's like, oh man, I love that color orange they use, or man, I love the 1997 Jets logo. Let me pull it up and show it to you.
Oh my word.
His love of every sports team is
45.
fully based in graphic design, which does make perfect sense, but it is funny.
it's true. I was wearing a Jets hat for a while. People were like Jets fan. I was like, no, it's just a great looking. Or that green is nice, and it's a good looking. Throwback Jets. It looks so good.
He was
Nice
like,
hat.
he was like,
I'm
I
a
have
hat
this.
fan.
He was like, I have this sick as hell vintage Colts sweatshirt. I'm gonna send it to you. I was like, man, you're a Colts fan? He was like, no, it's just cool.
It's great.
I just
the
have it 'cause
typeface
it's
on that
cool.
is crazy. Dude, how good is that typeface on that sweatshirt, though? It's untouchable.
Dude, it's so sick. That old Colts logo is so awesome.
Oh, so good.
Little
So
Minish
good.
said it's like
And then
rooting
he's-
for the team with the hottest quarterback. Also valid.
So valid. Dude, I tell this story.
It's like
I think
how
I'm gonna betray
my
how big of a
sisters
sports
watch
fan I am.
See,
As a kid,
Go for it.
whenever we watched the Super Bowl, I never understood the difference between rooting or voting. So I always say, which team are we voting for in the Super Bowl?
we've got first time chatter CS Green saying they're a Charlotte Hornets fan for the graphic design. Exactly. There's got to be a whole
Yeah.
generation
Oh, yeah.
of Hornets fans specifically because of the graphic design.
Oh yeah, the design was like just untouchable.
Their
So good.
color,
That's
their
another
color
example
scheme,
of
like in the
logos?
early '90s and stuff, was insane.
Oh yeah, Chris Creamer is a website. I don't know if it's still around. But they used to just like archive all the old sports logos. Excellent. I have tons of old books too from my grandfather. My grandfather designed a lot of iconic sports logos in the 20th century. He did the some of the 1960s Red Sox logos and the Brooklyn Dodgers and some other ones. Super cool stuff.
All right, everyone. As is tradition, I guess, at this stream, Tim happens to be moving over to his iPad at just about the time when my cats are starting to go as insane as possible. So I'm going to step away from my computer for a minute. I'm going to feed my cats. I'm going to refill my water. I'm going to grab a second beer, and then I will be back. The stream will still be here.
Tell Mac I say what's up. Tell Mac I say what's up.
I will. He's sitting 3 feet away from me. He's real sad. He's laying on the floor. He looks like the most depressed guy. It's because I kicked him out of my lap because he doesn't fit there anymore because he's gained too much weight.
Oh man, poor guy.
I
He's fat,
know.
dude. He's fat.
He's a big boy,
Yeah, my
Someone
cat-
get that cat some Ozempic.
dude. I've tried. I'm trying.
20
All right.
pounds?
20 pounds, dude.
Whoa.
That's a big boy.
He like sleeps on me during the night, and then I wake up in the morning with chest pains.
I was going to say, remember like crazy dreams of being like suffocated?
Yeah, it's like sleep paralysis, but I'm awake.
Okay.
Yeah,
Give Chips 5 pounds. She's a little baby.
2 more things before I go. Claude Kenobi, thank you for the follow. And we also have a question from the chat. Sounds by Moon. What's up, buddy? Asks,
What's up, Calvin?
what did you do for your birthday, Tim?
Oh, it was my birthday? It was cool. Just stayed home. I didn't have to work. Only Fridays I'm off, so Yeah, I just drew in the morning. Had the day to myself. Went to go see Allie at work. We got lunch together. Then the next day, we went and got some like good coffee, some good pastry, this bakery, and then we went to this antique store, the antique mall we wanted to go to up in Oneida, New York. It was really cool.
Nice.
There's a really, really sick old vintage foosball table, Kev, that Cal is not there anymore, but Kev and Cal, I want to get for my studio here. It'd be fun. So that way we can play some foosball when want to take a break from packing playmats.
So
all I really do is sit around packing playmats.
you were talking about being a big fan of sports. Do you like sports content, like Shorzy? Do you watch Shorzy?
No, what's that?
Dude, you gotta watch it.
What is it? What is it?
It's about hockey. JDM in the chat may be able to give a better explanation of it. He's been introducing it to me and my wife. But it's this little hockey team up in Canada. There's a part of like a really tiny league. But they're about to get defunded, so they make the deal with the owners so they can't lose another game. It's like inspirational. I almost like cried at the end of the first season. It's so good, dude. I think you'd really like it.
Well, what platform is it on?
Pirated ones. I don't know the real ones.
Oh, cool.
I think you can watch it on
fine. I'll
TV.
check it out. Oh, cool. That's over for most of my Wi-Fi. I watch stuff.
Oh, I'm seeing people say Hulu. Oh yeah. Drew's referring to it as Hockey Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is another great sports show if you've seen it. Hockey Ted Lasso.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's good. I haven't seen it.
Are you a big TV show guy? Do you like or do you more like because I know like I really like listening or watching stuff while I'm working, but I don't know. You might find that like distracts you from the process.
I like to listen. I listen to a lot. I listen most of the content. It sounds lame. I just listen to like Magic stuff, mostly Legacy. And I never get to play Legacy anymore because where I live, there's not a big Legacy scene. But I love listening to Legacy content. I think Legacy is really good Magic. I listen to it a lot. So I listen to like Phil and Wash and Roll, which is a lot of fun.
I feel like that's most of what I watch too. It's addicting, man.
Legacy content.
Especially once you're on like the tournament grind, you're just trying to get as much information as you can.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to change this one file, and then we're going to get started on the iPad. For some reason, this is... Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you pretty good.
Okay, just make sure it wasn't breaking up. I think it's being slow. I'm just trying to drag these over, but they're being stinkers. Second. Okay, can you still hear me?
You're still good.
Okay,
you were talking about earlier about how you feel like you always like kind of finish a project, kind of like a desire to like improve it, which kind of like takes you to the next project.
100%.
How does it feel looking back on your old art? Are you like, wow, I'm so proud of like this, like where I was at this point in time? Or are you like, oh my God, I would never do this? Or like somewhere in the middle? Like, what's that like?
Somewhere in the middle. I mean, I'm not like too hard on myself with like old drawings. I don't get like too bent out of shape about it. Like, I'm not like that self-critical. I do look at something and say, oh, I usually, it's in a way, it's almost like looking at the work of another person. And in many ways, you are another person. And I would say that, I'm not who I was when I created it. Yeah, like even, I'm an author as well. And, I wrote a pretty popular book a few years ago. And I look back and I read it and I really do feel like I'm reading the work of someone else, truly. Because I'm not who I was when I wrote it. Because as the act of writing it changed me, quite literally.
Yeah.
So I am not. That's not like a coy response. I quite literally am not the man who wrote that book because the act of writing it changed me.
No, dude.
So I am not.
I've been in grad school for about 4 years now, and it's crazy to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's mostly just doing a lot of like technical writing for like clinical, like nonprofit-ish stuff. But it has so surprised me. Looks like it's in focus. That's a really cool ring you've got.
Oh, thank you.
But it's so surprising to me. Yeah, you're exactly right. It literally reads as if someone else like wrote these like big research papers, just because the process of going through it, you just learn
Changes
so much.
Yeah, you're not who you were when you started it.
Yeah,
Quite, definitely not. I haven't done a green playmat in a while, so I'm looking forward to having a green playmat.
but it also sounds like you do a really good job of kind of like, I think self-criticism can be a useful tool to grow, but I also feel like self-compassion is another really important one as well.
Oh, dude, well said. 100%. I couldn't agree more with that. Like my brother, he's hard on himself as an artist sometimes. And I'd say, well, what would you say if you heard you saying this right now? I said, I'm like, what would you say? He's I would, and he's usually a lot more generous when he thinks of himself in that context,
Yeah, that's like a tool they'll use in counseling a lot, is like externalizing thinking, where it's like, like what advice would you give a friend in the exact same situation as you right now?
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah, it's the I've always thought that has to be so interesting because especially trying to get better at like hobbies, like for instance, like Magic. I have the vehicle of like asking my opponents for insight, or playing in tournaments, talking to my friends like Jason and Logan, who are both like really, really good players. But I've always wondered what that must be like as an artist, because you probably have access to more feedback than you could ever want, or even do want via like the internet.
Do you want some really good advice?
Yeah.
My really good advice is respect everyone, but don't listen to everyone.
Interesting. Tell me more. That's really interesting to me.
Well, yeah, that's from one of my mentors in grad school, Charles D'Ambrosio, great novelist. He's like, just the odds that everybody else you talk to would have the best advice for your writing or for your drawing or for your Magic game. That's just unlikely. Like everyone you talk to is going to have the best advice for you. That's not true. You know what I mean? Like, that's not true at all. That's like saying everyone in the world would be the best partner for you. Everyone in the world would be the best friend for you. It's not true. Some people are great friends. Some people are great, teammates for you. Like certain like players, like, would everybody have complimented Michael Jordan the way Scottie Pippen did? Probably not. Like, definitely not. But there's something about his play really complimented the play of Jordan at his peak. Like that's applicable for a myriad of things. So the idea, a lot of people, when they're in a critical setting where like they're subjected to critique, or sometimes you're dealing with people who are giving feedback for the sake of giving feedback.
Yeah,
and that's not. I think it was Magic too, where people are like, "Oh, should I cut this?" I'm like, maybe don't ask your friend who's a really good Storm player what for advice about your like control build. Dude, find out who to ask. Like, respect everyone. I like, it's like, and I think that's with coaching too. It's like people are like, oh yeah, I got to get coached by Ian, or I got to get coached by Waffle, or a coach by Wounded, or whomever it is. Like, no, like, which one of these guys? Maybe I don't think any of those guys would be a good coaching fit for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, part of their skill lies in their verbal. Like, maybe you should talk to someone like Tyler from Play to Win. He doesn't yap at all. He really doesn't yap. And I don't mean yap as a pejorative. I'm a yapper, but talk to somebody. If you're a highly verbal player, get coaching from a verbal person. But if you're not, like, that's just because someone's a proven winner. They're a proven winner because they've learned, and I mean this in Magic, because I think a lot of the lessons from Magic are highly applicable in other aspects of our lives. But the people who are successful in Magic are successful because of voice. And I've said this before about art. Finding your artistic voice, the term voice is a broad term, just means like unique mode of self-expression. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to draw like Justine Jones. I love Justine Jones' artwork. I don't want to draw like Boris Vallejo. I love Boris Vallejo's artwork. I want to learn to draw like Gold Sabertooth. You know what I mean? Like, and there are people who, and I know some people who are really who are friends and fans who want to draw like me. And my advice to them would be like, to maybe start there, you know, maybe that would be helpful, but then really learn how to draw like yourself. That's like important advice, because like nobody will you know, if you were asking before, like, what is the mark of a successful piece of art, is when the closer you can become, come home to yourself in the artwork and in Magic. Like lately I've been having a lot of success in Magic. I've won like a couple big tournaments back to back. I think I'm really just kind of, thanks. Yeah. But I think it feels good, but it also like doesn't, like I've been making the finals to some big tournaments, but hadn't, or kind of had some good results, but never like quite converted. Like I had some good top 16s and even some finals, but then all of a sudden like something came together and I just started winning them. And I was like, what changed? And I just feel like I've really just more and more just like come home to myself. Like, yeah, there probably is an objectively strongest meta choice in the moment, but I know who I am as a player. And like, I really have to lean into like my skill set. You know, I just have to. And like, the more I become myself, the better I am. The better.
So cool. How would you encourage like someone, because it sounds like that was a journey you went on as an artist, kind of parallel to the journey, like,
yeah, you're kind of always doing it as an artist, but yeah.
Like, how would you encourage like someone who's really into CDH and is trying to like more consistently play like themselves, who maybe doesn't have that analog experience of like artistic expression?
That's a good question. Well, that's an excellent question. How could I find that? Just recognize, well, I think a modality shift might be useful. And what do I mean by a modality shift is maybe think of an aspect in your life where you've experienced some success. Ooh, I'm on a hidden layer. Think of some aspect of when you've been successful, you know, whether that can be a professional success or athletic success or an intellectual success, and just kind of like look at that and think about like who you were and what you were capable of. I'm not quite getting at what I mean, but what I mean to say is that like with Magic, for example, I was just like thinking about like ways in which I felt like really confident, you know, and it's like advice I get my friends who are single and they're like looking for a partner. And I'm just like, when do I'm like, you probably are the most attractive to others. And I don't just mean like physically or romantically attractive, but just like attractive or charismatic, or you just have like swag or whatever it is. Like when you're in your element and you're like doing, like, I definitely have a lot of swag when I'm drawing, 'cause I'm really confident and comfortable doing it. I really feel good about it, you know? And like, you come at it from a point of strength. And, you know, sometimes we like think we want to do something like I want to be like breaching and storming off, but like if that's not if you're not comfortable, confident doing that, it's probably a bad place. But you're really confident in executing like peaky lines, just like, and that's what I've given advice to people before, and I'm glad to hear some other people say this. Is just that it's not about finding a commander, it's about finding a win con you like or a play style you like, and then going from there. Like that's what I would start. I would start with the win con.
That's really,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I would start with the win con 110%, you know?
Oh,
so that's,
I do have a question.
Yes,
I have a question. I have a question from chat, Tim. I've got, not to interrupt this fascinating conversation, but it's a classic. It's a classic. Thank you for the follow that dude person. It is a classic question for the stream. What's the purpose of this red grid?
Red grid. Ah, yes, the red grid. We are on the red grid phase. The red grid just helps me balance the design of the playmat. You know, like you don't want to put like very dark things on the edge of the playmat over here where they're going to like take the eye off the page, take the eye off the playmat, unless what you want to convey is some sort of like unbalance or some kind of like balance, or like I don't want to create a playmat where all the image and all the information is over here and then I write LUMRA over here. It just like this helps me balance the composition. So these are just lines the way your eye naturally is going to move around this kind of rectilinear space. And it's interesting how the ear kind of lines up on this, and the eyes are kind of up below this horizon line. It's just like this is kind of a dynamic, I feel like, form that's kind of following, you know, this kind of composition. Just like works for me. And I just think it's a way to help me balance. And I'm obviously not going to like speak this 100%, but I like to have it here as like just a visual reminder of a successful way to balance a composition. Even as a painter, I would do this. I would create like an underpainting or some sort of balance for the canvas. So I do the same in this instance. So I want this to be more than anything a successful composition.
That makes a lot of sense. I do have another really important point of business. First time in a long time, we have a chatter, Ramy426, who has redeemed Tim.
Ramy, what's up, dude? Boom.
Blew out the mic on that
Thank
one.
you. Good.
All I heard was, which I think is probably about the idea.
Oh, yeah. Rami, what's up, dude? Rami is a patron and friend of the channel, and human friend of real life friend. I just drew an AP of Rami's sister's dog.
I do love that the consistent theme of this stream is just like someone who I don't recognize, like popping into the chat for the first time ever. And I'm like, thanks, Rame426. And Tim's like, Rami!
I actually read a really great book once that was written by John Muir. He was like writing about traveling with Teddy Roosevelt, and that's like how he described it, like going across the country with Teddy Roosevelt. He would like come to like every little like podunk town in like Kansas or something, and they'd get off the train and he'd be like "Full Mine Jack, what's up, my friend?" Like he would like recognize some guy in every town, and then he would just like he's like the president went off and got drunk for 4 days and went hunting bison with his friends, and then came back. And then he had like friends, he had just like all to the earth friends every town. It was like really cool. It was an interesting portrait of Roosevelt. It's kind of cool.
McGiblets, Kiss My Zick, thank you very much for the follows. Kevlit Wind. Hello. Tim, next time we see each other at a Bufftown event, could I get you to do a drawing on the back of my LUMRA artist proof?
Let me think about it. Yeah, of course. 100%. I'd love to. I don't know who Chris Morris is in the LUMRA Discord, but tell them for some reason the nature of the business, just my wires got crossed and maybe it never got returned or never got sent out, but they never got their Ob Nixilis mat. So I sent one out to them, so it should be there soon. Tell them I'm really sorry that happened. And I had one. I'm out of Ob Nixilis, but they got one of the cool ones. They got one of the flocked proofs I had. I gave one to Cal and had like 1 or 2 left over. So Chris, your misfortune became something kind of sweet.
One?
She got like
One for little old me?
Yeah, I already mailed it to you, Corn Dog.
I know. I'm really hoping it gets here before I leave on Thursday.
I hope so too.
But we'll see.
Clarifying question: where did Corn Dog come from?
Yeah, Corn Dog. You want to talk about that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Corn Dog, tell us.
Bro, I said, hey, let's go get Korean corn dogs to this guy once. And ever since then, he's called me Corn Dog. I don't know.
Oh, dang.
It was at Chicago last year, actually.
Yeah, it was. You've been Chicago. You've been Corn Dog for officially 1 year now.
And it was, I guess
It's almost your 1 year your Corn Dog birthday.
1 year corn dog anniversary.
It's your Corn Dog anniversary, dude.
So yeah, I do love corn dogs. I love eating corn dogs. So
one thing about this boy, loves corn dogs.
I probably eat 4 corn dogs a week.
No, you don't.
You actually do?
Oh yeah.
He does. Yeah, he actually does. He doesn't. He's not really beating the accusation that bad.
So
I mean, like
so I go shopping at. I am someone who is abysmally terrible at feeding myself. And I work from home. I always have a million things going on. And we shop at Aldi, and at Aldi, they just have like a pretty decent 6-pack of frozen corn dogs. And the busier of a week I have, the more corn dogs I eat, because I'm throwing those frozen corn dogs in the air fryer, and they are yummy. I can tell you that much. So
Dude,
I accidentally,
so much.
dude, Aldi rocks. But like, as far as like an easy, tasty food goes, frozen corn dogs are just up there for me. So I end up eating quite a lot of them for that reason. Just dip them in a bunch of yellow mustard and I'm good to go.
Dude, that's crazy. This is gonna sound like a made up story, but I promise you it's true. My brother, he told me that he was like really into like eating frozen pizzas. And I was like, oh, I love them, but sometimes I can't be bothered to like heat them up. And he's like, I literally never heat them up. I just pull them out of the box and then eat them as is.
No, wait. Are you being serious? Your brother does
I'm telling you, it sounds made up. I was like at home one time and saw him do it. He literally, you know those little like $1, $2 like little frozen pizzas. He opened them, started nomming on it. Sober as fuck.
Wait, this is your own brother, and you're like
we are related by blood.
What the hell?
I know.
Dude, that's wild.
I mean, if he thinks those are tasty, imagine how crazy he'll go when he gets his first taste of triple dippers, dude.
I don't.
Wait, we've got a couple chat messages I gotta get to. Part Zebra said, I came to the States for the first time last year for MagicCon Vegas and learned that corn dogs kick ass. Hell yeah.
Encourage him.
That's the American experience you need right there. We do have another art related question. The Jurassic Pat a couple minutes ago asked, what kind of brushes do you use? Multiple or mostly one?
Oh, multiple. I got a couple, like, they're just modded brushes. I use B-Tone Classics and then a bunch of ones I made it. So you can like make on Procreate, you can make your own stroke and stuff. So I've just got a couple mods, and then this is just some sort of modded syrup, and then I use B-Tone's Classic shaders for a lot of the stuff. Why do I use B-Tone Classic shaders? It gives me the effect of like a silkscreen print. That's where my background is in, silkscreen printing. My family background for sure. My granddad, my father. That's like hey, that's a question about voice, about how you kind of come home to yourself. I found out like I was really attracted to certain kind of flat modes of representation and like different like a certain flatness in my painting, and I was like, oh wait, I'm really chasing those a lot of the clip art and logoture that my grandfather did. I'm really like chasing a lot of the image making I remember from like my grandfather's silk screens. And I was like, oh, I'm really chasing that. Like, I'm really trying to recreate that in my art. So I've been attracted to a certain kind of like a digital art making and ink work that kind of apes that, but also Riso prints. I really like Riso. I know Riso is kind of hot right now, but I'm into Riso. Because Riso in a way actually acts a lot like silkscreen. You have like a master that really kind of you actually are hitting with layers of a soy-based paint. Pretty cool.
Interesting.
Cool stuff.
What kind of like
Cool stuff.
what purpose has emulation served in helping you find your voice as an artist?
What is it? All writers are readers moved to emulation. Isn't that what Saul Bellow said? Wait, what the heck layer am I in?
What the hell?
Which layer is
What
this?
layer are you on? What the hell?
This layer should be underneath this one. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So, wait, I want to be on this layer. Sorry about that. It's hard for me to see what layer I'm on. I just think that yeah, on some level, like, it's funny. Like, I think a lot of people are like, when they're creating art, are like hyper, like, aware of like their influences. Like, oh, this probably looks like blank or blank. I'm sure you recognize blank in this, but truth is, like, most people don't. It's like the artist is like their kind of influences are kind of paramount, and they appear closer in the artistic rearview mirror. Talk about shit. But like, in actuality, most people like don't notice. Like, I could try to like rip off an artist, like, I feel like really egregiously, not like I would, but because it's not really what I'm interested in. I mean, I do think there's like such thing as like homage and like, you know, paying tribute to certain people. Like, that's awesome and cool. But I mean, like, you could feel like you were just totally ripping someone off, unless you're like totally doing it like Faye Jones. But you could like, but most people wouldn't even notice. So it makes more sense like in literature sometimes too. But god dang it, I got in the wrong layer again, didn't I?
You're doing better than I would.
No, dude, I fucked this up. Watch this. This is gonna be. Watch how gold fixes this.
What
being an artist is fucking up.
Cal, would you consider yourself like a super artistic person?
No.
Did you ever try? I tried like it was important to my parents that I like be into like the arts deal, like music. So I tried for a while, but that never really clicked. Did you ever like, you know, give it the old college try in any like sector of the arts, or really?
I said no. I was being wildly facetious, I fear. I was a classically trained pianist for 15 years. It's what I studied for my first year and a half of college as well.
Holy cow.
And then I said, actually, I'm not built for this. And then I swapped to being an English major, and I said, man, I'm not built for this. And then I studied journalism, and that really clicked for me. So these days I am trying to be a writer. But it's tough because journalism background, went into marketing as a job. I'm a great product producer. I'm not sure if I am a great art maker, but I'm working on it. It is something that I'm very difficultly working through right now, trying to figure out how to make things that I am happy with that are not also just like ostensibly products, because I've made a lot of products and I'm kind of tired of making products. Product, of course, being a meaningless distinction that exists only in my own head, but
I imagine that's got to be like so difficult, like developing your art, trying to balance that, like, what do I do that's like investing in me? You know, what's like the type of art I want to be creating, and like what's going to pay the bills.
Oh man. Oh, for sure.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about paying the bills. That'll happen.
Oh, I know.
I know that sounds cavalier, but it'll happen. Trust me. Like, the bills will find a way to get paid.
Oh,
they will. But like, also like, don't. I really reject the notion that like of the starving artist. I think like I just don't believe. I don't believe in it. That sounds
not
crazy.
real. They can't hurt you.
Yeah, I don't believe in the starving artist. I just don't. I just think it's BS. I think that like maybe there's like we all have like self-defeating tendencies, but I'm here to tell you that like if you want to make it as an artist, you can make it as an artist. Like, you can and you will and you shall. Like, you will make it. Like, I mean, you can make it in anything if you are dedicated and you have discipline. You need talent and discipline. And if you have talent and discipline, you will make it. You could even make it as like a magic content creator, as a magic grinder. You can make it as an organ grinder. You could be playing a little instrument and having a monkey dance. Like, whatever it is you want to do, you will do it if you have discipline. Like, I really mean that. Like, you don't... but discipline means like hanging in there and taking the punches when it's not working, but it will work in the long run. Like, art is a long game. I got that advice years ago when I was young in art school, and my friend said, like, you know, it's like he's like everyone who made it hung in there, And he's like, because like if you don't hang in there, like you're definitely not gonna make it. You know, he was right. He's like, it's like art is like a dance-a-thon. You know, like you will make it. Like if you hang in there, like, and just like, you know, just whatever you got to do to keep the fire burning and keep, you know, so it has to be intrinsic. It can't be to pay the bills, because that is external. That is an external thing that you don't have control over. You do have control over your work ethic and your discipline. When I was not making it, you know, I remember waking up early, and it was like Christmas Eve, and I got on the train. I was at my parents in DC, and like it was like early in the morning, and I like got on the train to like go to a coffee shop that was open in Alexandria and go and work. And my brother-in-law is like, "Hey, where's he going?" And my mom was like, you know, when she's still alive, she's like, "Oh, he's going to go work on his book." And my brother-in-law is like, he could go do that upstairs. Why does he have to go get dressed? He could work on it in his underpants. He's like, why does he have to leave the house? He's just trying to, I know what he's doing. He's trying to get out of work. He's trying to get out of helping around on Christmas Eve. And my mom was like, no, he's like, he's got to hold himself accountable. He's got to be an artist. You know, it's like going to the office for him. And he's like, yeah, it seems like a lot of bullshit to me. And he was like so upset about it, you know? But the real truth is that like you, in your decorum and your behavior, you show other people, you give them the blueprint for how to regard you. If you treat yourself like a success, you will be treated like a success by others. You will. And it's, you got to find a way to keep the fire burning on your own, because you are not in control of external factors like success or whatever, but you are in control of your effort. And like, I make art every night, and my wife is sleeping and the dogs are sleeping and they're in the other room and it's cold and I don't want to be sometimes, but like, cause the inspiration not always there, but that's when you got to kick in and you got to dig deep, and it's got to come from you, and you will be successful. But you won't be successful if you don't work hard. You can have talent, you know, that's what they say. Talent beats hustle when hustle don't talent, or what is it? Talent hustle beats talent.
Yeah, when
talent don't hustle.
When talent, hard work beats hustle. When hard work beats
true,
talent. When talent doesn't work hard. We got there.
It's true. Well, when I was a football coach, I remember that, you know, you'd have kids who were just like innate talents. You had kids that were just freaks, you know, but the kids who really were successful were the ones that were like really successful, the ones that like were the freaks that worked like they were, you know, a role player, that worked as hard as the second stringers. Like when those kids work hard, like look the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like look the fuck out, because then anything can happen.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude, that's so true.
Yeah, it is true. I know it. You know why? Because experientially, I know it to be true.
I definitely knew some people who like I knew them from like a really early age. They were just like, I think some of the most like brilliant people I knew. It seemed like everything came like really, really easy to them, which was true. It did. But that also meant that they never really developed the skills to get through things that didn't come easy to them.
That's a classic.
Yeah, that's important.
Something I dealt with for a really long time.
Yeah, I feel like I experienced that in school, where I did really well in like middle school and high school, and then I got to college and was like way out of my depth. I was like, holy shit, I don't know how to study.
It's true. I went to undergrad at Cornell, and I've gone to high school at like, you know, a little rinky dink public school in the middle of upstate New York, you know? So like, and I learned some things. I learned that like, you know, like I learned to work my ass off, because like I just a lot of my like my chops in terms of like my study habits, just were not there. Like I didn't grow up and go to like one of these, you know, Northeast boarding schools, are really kind of, you know, really kind of competitive, like public magnet schools or something, where they were kind of, you know, had these study skills like explicitly laid out for them. So I had to work my tail off to try to make it, because I those muscles were just so out of shape for me. I had no idea how to do it, and I'm glad I figured it out, you know, because I mean, I know what you're saying. Like it didn't. You read a lot of those things. But the good news is like that I actually just had when I was at I went to the iRares workshop for graduate school, and my mentor Ethan Kanan said a really good thing to me. He was just like, he's like, yeah, you know, a lot of your conventions and your grammar and all this shit just sucks, man. And he's like, I was like, oh man, I felt bad. He's like, no, he's like, that's a good thing. He's like, you like the teachable things you're bad at. He's like, but the unteachable things you're really you're good at, and that's the good news, because like I can help you with these things, like the conventions and like the grammar and the form, you know, and but like I could teach you that, like the unteachables, the intangibles. Like if the intangibles are there, then you know, sky's the limit, and that's true with a lot of things. Like
that's so.
You gotta have. Yeah, then that's cool. Like having the intangible, like that's the one thing you can't teach. But getting good habits, you can figure out. Talk back to voice, like what are those intangibles for you? And talk about magic, like what are those intangibles? Like your friend Logan, you said had success with Glarb. Is it just? And there's been a lot of people who are like, oh, I should play Glarb now. Maybe, but maybe Glarb is not the deck for you. Maybe that was an example of Logan coming home to himself and finding his voice in the magic sphere in CDH and understanding what decks were successful for him. Do you know what I mean? Glarb was a harmonious fit for him in both style and voice, so that his intangibles were on display. You know? Oh, that Cobra looks good. That's a dang good looking Cobra. We're gonna put Nis on that Cobra.
I just gotta say, from chat, Jam Goody said, if you want to help fill up Corn Dog's pockets, go watch and listen to the Herald's Horn. Their podcast rocks. That's what I'm saying, Jam Goody. Thank you very much. One of my children, dude. One of my 2 children. One of my 4 children. Oh God.
Is that a magic podcast?
Yes, it is. It is the Herald's Horn. It is a magic news and interview podcast. Have a lot of fun with it.
Did you get into that as part of pursuing journalism?
It's relatively new. I've been making it for a year and change now. But for whatever reason, yeah, like the chatting about the local news, like the chatting about the most recent news and interviewing people is I think actually what I'm most passionate about. I do love someone recently.
You're good at it.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Murph, my good buddy Murph, who is also one of the co-hosts of one of my other podcasts. The other day was like we were chatting. He's like, Cal, I've had the realization that you just make podcasts so that you can talk to your friends. I was like, it's kind of a big part of it. gives me an excuse to sit down and talk to Lexi and Emma and Dan for an hour a week, and I get to invite someone on, and they're usually either someone I already know or they're someone I would like to get to know, and I just get to pick their brain for an hour. And the Level Up podcast, which is my other podcast, which I make with Murph, which is a video game collecting podcast. We just talk for like 3 hours a week, and only an hour of it goes live anywhere, but it's just fun. 3 hours every other week.
Well, you just got one more subscriber for me, friend.
Hey,
it looks you got some cool stuff on here.
I appreciate it very much. New episode Thursday. That's my day tomorrow. Putting that together. Woohoo!
So, what's your opinion on Magic? What's your opinion on CDH right now? Because we're post bans. I feel like last year people had a lot of opinions. There's some people quit, a lot of people joined, but now that things have kind of settled a bit. It seems that, at least in CDH, so we've kind of established the new meta. What are your thoughts on it?
Are you asking me or Corn Dog?
Whichever one of you guys wants to jump in. It's one of you's a podcast, the other stream. I want to hear all you guys have to say.
Look, I think it's kind of sick. I do kind of miss the range of decks that got to exist because they could do some kind of weird dockside loop as a win con when they didn't have
that is true
many other options. We were talking before we went live. You and I, we were kind of talking a little bit about teamer options, and I do think a big reason why there isn't that many popular teamer commanders right now is because a lot of the teamer decks were winning with dockside loops because they don't really have anything else they can easily do, so
true.
So now that those are gone, I think that I think there were low key a lot of really cool decks, all the Dargo decks and stuff that were being held up by dockside existing. I mean, do I miss dockside? Not really. I do miss decks that would use Dockside as a win con specifically in that way.
Well said.
But otherwise, and do I definitely miss having Jeweled Lotus on my Obnixilis deck? Yes. But I mean,
I bet.
Every game I've played post ban, I've been pretty happy with, but I haven't played that many. Tim plays way more CDH than me.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I do think that, like, you know, there's a lot of cool things that kind of caught astray, and that's natural with Magic. Like, you might have a cool deck that you can't play in this given meta because, you know, people are sideboarding against something else, and it's just, you just catch a stray from people teching against another deck, and you can't do something cool, and that's just like a Magic feel bad, you know. But I agree with it, and I'm sympathetic towards it. So I know what you mean, because I felt that way too. But you know, I mean,
you were playing at the time get hit by the ban hammer.
Yeah, it's called Nadu.
No, oh man, I was playing Nadu too. I was so sad. I like kind of saw it really sad.
Well, I honestly still think, and like anybody who's like, oh yeah, Nadu, rest in peace. Yeah, come at me, okay? Because the truth is, like, I think Nadu was totally on the power level for CDH. It was not inappropriate for CDH. I mean, like, I will take you to fucking school on that. Like, give me an hour. Like, there's like, it's just like a cheeky thing to say, and a lot of people are afraid to come up with their own opinions on the internet. But the truth is, like, it was a unique deck. It wasn't like cumbersome to execute in a tournament setting. Like, come on, like, if people really, how many times the Kinnan deck, they're like, oh yeah, I just activate Kinnan, I win. But let's be real, if you actually made them like, all right, play it out, and you made them like go through their Cephalid Coliseum loops or whatever it was they were doing to win, like, it would seem cumbersome. So the onus on like the player to like have to, there was like the unwillingness to concede against Nadu because people felt like there was like they're like, oh no, show it, come on, play it out. And it was just like kind of a smug thing, like, dude, it's like, all right, oh yeah, I have my entire deck in my hand, I can make everything a land, every creature has haste now, but yeah, please tell me again how like I'm not going to beat you, you know. Like, so I definitely think that Nadu was an excellent deck because it really it does something that like I like. If it's a 4-player format, okay, it makes logical sense to just ignore the other players and try to win yourself. Like, that's it. And that's what we saw happening with like a turbo meta. It's just like, I'm going to ignore everyone and try to win myself, right? And because that makes the most logical sense. It's not like, it's not nasty. It's just like, that would make it, like, the idea of like beating 3 other players, you're just going to get 3v1. So you should just try to like go under the radar and win. But if you had some way to punish that, like, okay, you cannot totally turtle up because you need some. This is a kind of like creature-centric tempo strategy where you have to respect it. It was a natural check to like the turbo meta, and it was like a nice rock, paper, scissors between turbo, mid-range, and this kind of like lands tempo deck, which was really creature-based combo, and it had a nice rock, paper, scissors. Now it's just like there's nothing. It's like the reason why we're in mid-range hell is because there's nothing to punish if there's only a turbo deck, right? So the Nadu fit in nicely because if the wrong side deck or Dahada or Corvald wanted to just like have tunnel vision and ignore the Nadu deck, the Nadu deck would win, right?
Yeah.
But now you can't be the only turbo deck in like a pod full of just mid range, because now you will lose because somebody is going to keep something and the game will go to the long game and you'll just get buried. You know what I'm saying? So like there's this weird parity. Like I do think turbo has been kind of unfortunately bullied out. I think turbo has a place in the meta. So everything goes into these slog fests. But in a weird way, we're in these weird slogfests where people are simultaneously being irresponsible in another way, where it's just like, I was at the Rumble and like everybody was just like, it was like Kinnan and Sisse, TNK, TNT, Kinnan and Sisse, just winning every pod, or there were draws. because there was one turn where like the Kinnan player had, or Sisei, I don't even remember the time. It was Kinnan or Sisei had a creature based, win on the table, just heads up on the table, and we let the TNT player, TNK, sorry, Blue Farm player. They had a Vamp Tutor, and we let them, and we like drew them some cards of the wrist deck, and we're like, all right, we will do this, but you've got to find an answer. And he tutors his whole deck like heads up with the other two players on the table, because CDH is 3v1 until it's always 3v1. You either have two buddies or everyone's against you. That's just the game. So we're all working together to not die, and we're looking through his deck together. He did not have one bit of removal, because his like one removal piece was like a Chain of Vapor. It was like in the graveyard. He literally had nothing. Not even he's like, oh, I recently cut Psych Rift in like pack. So like, I was like, okay. So we were in this weird place where everyone's like, I don't want to be the guy playing Cyclonic Rift or Toxic Deluge. And that's just because like everyone's like, I want to win. I just want to play value engines. I don't have to have answers. And then what happens is like no one has answers, and you just get, and it goes into these draws. That's one thing I like that Logan's list with the Glarb. He was running like spicy shit like Bane of Progress. Like he had answers. The good thing about having answers for my playstyle, and maybe yours too, is that like if your opponents want your spells to resolve, they will resolve. Yes. The best position you could be in a CDH, the best position you can be in a CDH game is when you've got the spell and your opponents are even fighting for it to resolve. Like there was so many games where like I'm casting a swords on Kinnan and Kinnan's like countering it, and then the Blue Farm player's like, no, fuck that. I'll dispel that. Like we need Kinnan to die right now. And like if that's the kind of gaming that's happening, you are far ahead, my friend. You are far ahead, and that's a good ass place to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes it such a great format. I've played 1v1, and I think it brings out a different style of play that's really, really interesting. But
you can't yap to get your spells resolved in 1v1.
Yeah. You're not gonna like tournament play CDH. It starts to resemble poker in some like really, really interesting ways. Of people are trying to like predict what the other person's going to play or have in their hands, or there's just this kind of like you're exactly right. You said it perfect. It's always either 1v3 or 3v1, and there's no in between. If you think there's an in between, then you're misreading the bot composition.
Yeah, right, and that's cool about the game. So like I was in my, I felt a little bad. I was listening to the tournament recap from Play to Win. They were talking about the one tournament in the Convoke tournament that our friends Tyler and Brandon and Chen put on, and they were like talking about how I was politicking, certain ways, but like it wasn't like subterfuge. Like it was sincere. Like we had a Derevi player who like had heads up, like on the table. The cards they were representing were like, they had like whatchamacallit. They had a super, it's like what do you call it? It's a Grand Abolisher at home, console. Yeah, the Kutzel, and they had two Ranger Captains, a Ranger Captain clone, a roaming throne, and like Derevi and like something else. And they were like trying to politic the people and be like, I'm not pushing, I'm not the threat. And I'm like, dude, you can't, like, you're looking very threatening right now. Like, I want to believe you're not the threat, but dude, this is like not how to not look like the threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, if you want to not be the threat, like, don't play like 3 Grand Abolisher effects.
Yeah, this is if you don't want to, man. Like, if you don't want to,
it's a bad look.
At least one Ranger Captain for me. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm like, be a bro and crack one of them. And he's like, no, I'm saving them for when you guys do something or something. And I'm like, all right, then show me your hand. And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, then we have to be. Then we have to BTFO you, like it's not personal, but like we just have to. So like that's the kind of stuff we were talking about, where the game, where like it, like don't look, and I've learned that a lot. Like don't look threatening until you're ready to fucking go, because you will rightfully get targeted. It's just the nature of the game. You're just going to get targeted. It's not right. It's not wrong. It just is what it is. And like, for example, one thing happened with my game, like I had a game where I was playing against game one. I was playing against Karakashima, Yuriko, and like TNK or something.
Okay.
TNT. And I could have cast a turn one kitten, but I didn't really have much of a payoff. I didn't really have any like payoff for it. I just had turn one kitten. You know what I'm saying? Like, then what? You know? I don't know. Nothing really. And I was like, I could play this turn one kitten, but like all I'm going to do is just like get smoked for it. Like it's just going to hang around. I'll cast like one thing and I'm going to tap my mana rock. I have no payoff. And even though like a turn one kitten seat one seems sick, I just sat on it. I was like, nah, it's just going to make the whole table go crazy. They're going to feed someone's Ristic and they're going to I'm just going to get a lot of heat. And it was the right move. I just like, by not playing that kitten, I was able to like hold off until when I did play the kitten, it was just like a fucking wrap. Like there's nothing they could do by the time I really was ready to go. Yeah, like an earlier version of me just would have jammed the turn one kit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Oh, and I want to say too, this yellow is not going to stay yellow. I'm just using that so I can figure out what the background's going to be.
Yeah, it probably makes it way easier to see.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, because it's going to be like this color, and you know what I mean. Like, but right now I have to make it yellow because otherwise I have no idea.
Be staring at the screen for like 2 hours.
I'll do what I did before, where I just like drew on the wrong thing. Okay, what layer are you?
Oh man! Oh, important chat question from Littlest Minish. How do you feel about cat girls?
Like anime cat girls?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I think it's like a meme or it's funny or something, but like I really don't know much about anime. I don't really know anything about it. I didn't grow up watching it. Most anime I watched was like Toonami, like Dragon Ball Z as a kid. I don't really know anything about anime. I don't read manga. I just don't. This is not my. I don't dislike it. I think it's funny because it's a part of like a cultural touchstone, I guess. But I don't know enough about it. So, no, I'm neither pro nor against it. I think like I don't really understand like. Although like a lot of my friends enjoy it, like I don't really understand like the waifu shit. I think it's like funny, kind of like cringe or like, but even just like not even waifus, just being like, oh, I love this art. But the art is just like this like crazy looking, like schoolgirl looking version of Nissa with like giant gazongas and like, what the fuck? Like, it's just all kind of like, there's nothing like just like so overly sexual about like women in anime. Like they never really look like women. They have like exaggerated like asses and tits and the eyeballs and hair, and it's just like I don't really get it. Although like I like some of the more like I do like some of the art. I think the art is cool. Like my wife really likes like Sailor Moon, and I think that art is fucking cool as hell. Like especially like the what are they called? The Death Busters or whatever. Pharaoh 9, that kind of shit. It's cool. You should watch it. Actually, I actually think Sailor Moon is the only like anime I ever watched. I really liked it. It reminded me a lot of Twin Peaks, actually, because it was like this kind of pastiche of like on the surface, like, oh, this is the show about like a cutesy show about like teenage girls, like like fighting these monsters, but and like friendship. But it was actually like way more of like a psychological thriller and like supernatural and like about like angels and demons and paranormal shit and like really fucking wild out there artwork, and like it was like way more supernatural and like fucked up than I had any idea. That's what I like about it.
Watching Twin Peaks for the first time. No spoilers, please.
Well, Twin Peaks is basically the same thing as Sailor Moon. It's my new thesis.
We've got let's see. Cringe big boob proxy makes me want to kind of spite play. So true. Welcome back, Vinny.
You can do it. Vinny, you can do whatever you want, dude. No haters here. This is the judgment-free zone.
Fenno Dreams, thank you for the follow. Whew.
Actually, I want to do this Western font for the LUMRA.
Man, we're kind of cooking.
I like it. Oh yeah, dude, dude, I really like how this acid turned out.
Yeah, Nick Cobra is so cool.
Oh yeah, I really nailed that Cobra.
So one thing is that I really nailed that Cobra. I do love hanging out with I do love hanging out with Tim, because Tim is the rare artist that really just hypes himself up the whole time. He knows he's got that shit on.
Well, you want me to blow smoke up your ass? I'm gonna tell you how it is, man. If it sucks, I'll let you know too.
Dread, still thank you for the sub.
Sometimes, dude, the old Lodi Cobe.
Yeah, I've never seen Sailor Moon. I've seen a little bit of Twin Peaks. I think probably the closest type of show I've seen to that is Gravity Falls.
Was it good?
Dude, I love Gravity Falls. It's I feel like a lot of people who like Avatar: The Last Airbender seen that show. Also like Gravity Falls.
Oh,
Okay, hell yeah.
we do have a suggestion from chat. A little tasteful cowboy hat on Nissa.
Done. Only if Eric says it's cool.
Oh, absolutely, dude. LUMRA's yeet or last hog. Get that cowboy hat out there.
This feels referential to me.
I've never worn a cowboy hat.
You gotta live out in Arizona to wear one. Can't. Where do you live now? Colorado?
Yeah. So I started in Florida.
You're in Colorado? You can wear one. You're in Colorado. You can wear one in Colorado.
And you?
Yeah.
I feel like I look like I'm from Texas, and I feel like people in Colorado don't like people from Texas.
No. You can do it, dude. Colorado is the West. You can wear one in Colorado. You don't just have to wear you don't have to just wear rock climbing clothes. You can in a parka. You can wear a cowboy hat in Colorado. My wife's family, they're like cattle people in Colorado. You can.
Hey, what part?
Cowboys. They're in. Gotta ask Allie. It's basically part of Denver now. He had a bunch of is it her Aunt Karen, and they had a. I'm gonna ask Allie. 1 second. Hey Al. It's outside of it's just outside of Denver now, but it's funny. It was all farmland, but now it's just they're rich cowboys now, because it's the whole land just. Yeah, oh yeah, they're rich as fuck now, but they were just cowboys. He had a lot of. It's just outside of Denver. We flew into Denver, and we're and then before you know it, we're out where they are, and it's
You get to see
real cowboy shit.
Lucifer.
What is it? Oh, the horse
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
at the airport. Oh yeah, the horse at the airport. Yeah.
It's a good airport, but it's so far out from the city. Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever think you were going to be a farmer? Or wait, no, you said it was your wife's family?
Oh wait. Hey Al, where does Trent and Karen live? What's the name of that town? Oh, she put it in the chat. All right. Cool Ball's my wife. I'm doxing her.
Wait a second. I forgot that cue ball was your wife.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Cool Ball's
really
my wife.
funny.
Did I ever think it'd be a farmer? Yeah, well, I love animals.
Wait a second.
my
Cue
wife
ball
just-
donated 5 subscriptions.
My wife's cool like that. She's awesome. But yeah, my wife is really into animals. She's really, really talented with outdoor stuff and animals, and she loves it. And I do too. I've always just loved animals. So when my wife when we had more land and we wanted to have animals, I was really happy to do that. Because it was sick, dude. Animals are sick.
I didn't grow up on a farm, but I grew up on a 2-acre lot where we had chickens and stuff. It was
hell yeah, dude.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah, having animals is just a really positive experience.
I don't know if it was just
10 out of 10.
We had once again, this is going to sound like an exaggeration, but maybe the fact that I'm telling you it's in Florida will help. There was we had issues with possums killing our chickens, and they were fucking massive, dude. On average, I'd say they were probably between 15 to 18 pounds.
Wow.
they were
Awesome.
gigantic.
Well, you really are in the tropics. I mean, like things are just. I went to the Botanic Gardens in Sarasota recently, and it was so awesome because going to a Botanic Gardens in Florida is like nothing else because everything just grows like
Dude.
just grows crazy, man.
It feels like you're in like some like prehistoric place or something.
Yeah, it does. It really
There's
does.
definitely, like a lot of bugs, so that's definitely a pretty big downside.
Yeah, if you don't like bugs, it's not for you. I mean, I was like in Ocala, Florida, and I was like riding a bike on this trail, and like I saw something, and I wasn't sure like what it was, if it was like on my glasses or if I was really seeing it, and I stopped my bike, and it was right in the path. It was one of those like those giant orb weaver spiders, you know.
No.
Holy shit, man!
They had like did they have banana
Dude,
spiders?
it was the size of my hand. Whatever. Oh no, it was like the size of my hand. Whatever it was.
Dude, I've seen those, man. It's
They're crazy.
What is it? What I think it's called like the queen spider or something. They like they'll climb into nests and kill birds. They're like the size of a dinner plate.
Yeah, I've heard about these.
That shit ain't right. I got bit. I got bit by a cockroach once. That also sucked.
A cockroach? Man.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Do you know what like a compost bin is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a stupid. I'm not trying to. So I was moving it from one compost bin to another to kind of air it out. I'm walking back towards the shed with like a shovel, and then it feels like someone like took a pair of like nail clippers, but instead of using it on my nails, like used it on a patch of skin on my thigh.
Yeah.
So I yelled.
Oh my God.
And I swear to God, the like biggest, fattest cockroach you've ever seen kind of skitters out and then just runs across the grass. I screamed the loudest I think I've screamed before.
Oh my God.
Me no like.
Bro, that is horrible. Dude, you're like gonna freak out. My wife, she hates bugs like that. Ugh.
Don't
tell you
worry.
what, not to
She's probably watching an ad break right now.
Oh man, it's so gross, dude. Bro, I'm so sorry that happened.
That's so. Oh, I don't like that. Me don't like it.
I don't lie.
Dude.
Dude, when did that happen?
That was let me see, probably about 18 years ago. I think it was about 10.
And you're still in therapy about this, right?
I feel like I can still feel it.
Oh God, man.
Dude, it's one thing that was a little bit less creepy though is there were always tons of frogs and lizards. So if you if you looked out at like any of the windows, there'd always be like at least like one little tree frog or something on them. Or there also
tree frogs that we can get behind.
Or like the little lizards that like if you grab their tail, they'll like the tail comes
Drop
off.
their tail.
Talking about those little like green like gecko things.
Oh, those are cool. What are they called?
It's like they've got like no teeth, but they'll bite the shit out of you. So they'll like latch on, but you won't like it doesn't like feel like it's not painful or anything because they literally have like no teeth. They're really cute.
Dude, I like lizards, man. Let's hear for lizards, dude. Lizards are fucking cool.
Yeah. Any lizards in the chat? You know.
Hey, yeah, any lizards?
Oh.
Any agate instigators in chat?
Cue Ball said, "I'm listening, half asleep, and cockroaches are invading my dreams."
No, come on.
Sorry, my bad.
We've ruined Cue Ball's wife. We've ruined Mrs. Sabretooth's life, and by extension, Tim's life.
Oh God!
You know,
cockroach bite. That sounds so painful.
you know what they say?
We were in here.
Cockroach life, cockroach wife.
They do say that. They do say that. Dude, what about the
I had a lizard
also-
like
yeah,
that named Cran. Bro, having a lizard seems awesome.
Yeah,
Dude,
let's hear for
except like
lizards,
I don't know if have you seen the TikTok videos of right? So like when like a human gets like dust or shit in our eyes, like we tear up and like our bodies wash it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never cry, but sure, I've heard of crying. No,
Like, yeah, it's the for whatever it is that cowards do. Obviously not me.
yeah. Whatever TNT players do.
Yeah, you know how they are. But a lot of blizzards don't have that. So like you can see sometimes there'll be videos on TikTok of like vets will have to like pull like all the dead skin that collects like in the eyes,
poor guys.
like that goes off. I don't know why I'm
Poor
talking
dudes.
about gross stuff. This isn't like a normal conversation topic for me.
Sure. Oh, great. It's funny though. Dude, lizards are cool, man. In Arizona, we had lots of big, cool lizards. We had some freaky ass, dude. The freakiest thing, these like Arizona centipedes. They were like the size of snakes. I'm not even fucking with you, dude. They were freak. Oh yeah, they were freaky as fuck, dude. They were not good. They will give you nightmares. But the big thing too that was like people talk about what are they called? Tarantula hawk wasps. Oh, they're out west.
Yep,
dude. Those things are they in Colorado too? Those things are nutty. They'll fuck you up. You watch some YouTube videos of guys. There's like guys that being like, "All right, I'm gonna get stung by this thing," and they're like having a Tupperware and then let it sting them, and they're like, "Oh my!" It's like I've watched a lot of those videos, but fucked up. Don't do that.
Dude, you don't want to mess with those.
Fragile hawk moths, yeah, they're weird. See those little guys. But the cool things we would see are the chays, the horny toads. Those are cool. The horn, you know what I mean, like a horny toad.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm
like
the
horned frog. Oh, you're in the garbage can. Those things are cool. Those things are cool, man. The horny toads are cool.
A horny toad. Look no further.
We got some horny toads in chat. They're cool though.
His moistness.
His moistness, dude. Glarb's a cool deck. Cool. It's cool to play off the top of your deck. It's kind of like drawing cards.
Yeah.
I don't like drawing cards. He's kind of like a little baby future sight. A little baby plays really nice with Sensei's top and Doomsday. Doomsday is not his plan A, plan B, plan
What's
C.
the, like, so it sounds like you've got a pretty good grasp on the CDH meta right now. Like, what do you think what do you think's like coming up? So we're definitely in like mid-range, like capital and mid-range right now. And it seems like decks are doing well. They can take advantage of that.
No, but every deck is. That's the thing. I think like everyone's like, oh, you got to play Flash. I'm like, no, because then you have these 9 games because everyone's going for a Flash win. If everyone's going for a Flash win, you will not get your Flash win. The Flash wins were free when it was novel, but if everyone's doing it, everyone's like, I'm holding my flood collar for your, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to be. What I think is going to win are the decks that are going to be like. They're like, okay, Cavern on Human, Ranger Captain. You're like, those are the decks I think they're gonna win. I think what decks they're gonna win in like a surprising way, or just like a hard to interact with way. I think we're still like teching against like our heuristics of like what are the win cons and like this lines up really good against blank. I think we need to reconsider that. I think like a deck that can actually present a realistic clock is a good deck that can just like, I know a lot of people talk about like, you're like, oh yeah, Yuriko's dead. But I think if Yuriko was like playing the kind of Yuriko where like they're really trying to just like smash huge spells. Like I know Yuriko deck that they're just like, where they're just trying to feed their fish and never cast like a dumb Wingcrafter. Like I think they'd be better off casting the dumb Wingcrafter because like, I think like the way you're going to win is like, you know, it's like the term, you know, a term that Boston Roll uses, Brian uses a lot. He says, you know, you put the tempo puts the game in a can. Like you don't give the lands deck all game to do what they want. Yeah, sure. Give them all game and they'll take advantage of it. But if you can make the game short for somebody and put their life under duress and force them to go shoot for a window that's suboptimal because they might not get an extra turn. Like the amount of games I won, a lot of the Marnius wins came from me just like being like, all right, I've got Ocelot Pride. I got a ton of cats. I'm making a ton of treasures. I'm just going to start manually taking turns with like my time sieve and smashing you with like a giant orc army. Like that kind of magic is real.
Yeah,
I
it's
think like
so true.
terrorizing people with an orc army. Like, look back at some of the games. Like, I don't think Winota is like the answer, but there's something like that lurking that's just gonna like, yeah, it's like you think about what beats mid range. Like, it's not if the mid range becomes too controlly, it's not mid range anymore, because mid range naturally beats up on aggro because it's got like some life. It gains some life and it has some, it's got we think it's got a card like Uro or Omnath where like it erases all the damage of aggro and like it'll just like it'll weather the punches in the early game. What we're talking about is actually like mid range L is kind of like it's just control. I mean, and it's like operating at like, why is everyone playing a million counter spells when you can't counter like Kinnan doing its thing? Or like we were in a game the other night playing. Shout out to Willie and LUMRA and his friend Pearson, where we were just like Matthew was playing Magda, and there's like every game he could cast the Magda. Somebody had a counter spell, and like I don't know if I should counter the Magda, or I don't know if I should kill the Magda. And I'm like, and he would politic to get his Magda to resolve, and I'd be like, okay, I know you feel dumb countering Magda, but we lost again. Like, here's the Felford again award. Like, you should have countered the fucking Magda because now you're dead. Because once the Magda's on board, you can't do anything. Once the Kinnan's on board, yeah, you got a heuristic study. He's never going to trigger heuristic study. He's just going to spin Kinnan forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, good fucking luck. He's got the mana to pay for once he's got a bit of mana, he'll pay for heuristic. Some good, like, the heuristics were great. Heuristic Study and Mystic Remora were a great counterplay to Turbo Nas. Turbo Nas is not happening.
Yeah,
it's like true. It's like I'm never gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna like sit behind a Gaia's Cradle and a Lotho on my Sitsei deck for 6 turns, and then I'll have such inevitability. You're just gonna like sit there like a pud. Like, that is what happens.
It's so true, though. Yeah, I think that's definitely something you've been experiencing as well. Is
you have, haven't you? Yeah, a lot of people have. It's real.
It's like games. Everyone's kind of like waiting for someone to go for a win first. When no one goes for a win first, there's something that happens, like you said, of like, for instance, something as simple as Cavern of Souls on human and the casting a Grand Abolisher that forces everyone to kind of like stop sitting on their ass, stop waiting for a few counter spells, and then jump in.
Or like what you're doing is like, and I just said too, like when we're in these games where like people are trying to stuff someone, or I'm just like, dude, you're just giving the Magda deck or the Kinnan deck or the Siste deck more time. Like, they want time because time is their friend. Like they're gonna you're gonna die, and the Felford again ward. I've got one for you. Like, here it comes. Like, it's not gonna end well for you. Like, so that's why I started playing my Marnius deck, where I played like, I don't want to exaggerate. I think I was playing something like 12 pieces of removal or board wipes. So that way, yeah. And then I'm counting something like Grim Hireling as being as removal, maybe, because it can kill shit. But like, I was like telling people like, because there's so many games where like people like wanted my spells to resolve. There was like, I'd be like, well, I've got this Amphibian Downpour, and like they didn't care if it was going to draw me 5 cards with my Marnius. They were like, hell yeah, we need it. Like, we're dead if we don't cast this, because none of us have any answer. Like, there was a game where like Sisse and Kinnan both had win on board, and the whole table was like, yeah, psych rift us. The other guy, like even the Sisse wanted me to psych rift because they had no answer to Kinnan, and Kinnan like wanted me to psych rift because they had no answer to Sisse. It was like these weird things where like they were like, yeah, the psych rift is probably the best thing, because both of them thought they could reload better, and then the other player, like the TNK players, and them was like, yeah, like at this point, like we needed to resolve,
Super interesting.
Yeah, dude. This is you sign up for this, you get free coaching from me.
Yeah. So where do you think Stacks falls into all of this?
I think Stacks is bad. I think stacks is just bad magic. That's just my advice, because here's the thing, like, you don't right now, like, you're giving time to the decks that want time. You don't want time. You want the game to go shorter. Like, if you keep the stacks, like, there's a reason why Kinnan decks don't mind Trinisphere. There's a reason why Magda decks don't mind Blood Moon. Like, they want things to slow down the game, because in a slowed down, grinded out game, time is on their side. So I think, like, having something that's like, that's why I really like, if I'm going to play mid range or look, my version mid range, I'm always playing Hullbreaker. Like, I'm like, it's going to get to 7. I always play Cyclip. I'm like, it's going to get to 7 mana. Like, 7 mana will happen. You know, like, I just know 7 mana is going to happen. You know, like, that's my attitude. And I'm probably right about it. Like, I know 7 mana is going to happen. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking back over like my recent games, and I think I definitely would agree with you on that. I mean, I think that's one of the things I like about playing LUMRA as a deck is you're like developing this board state while also having this like 23-23.
Right. You're developing a board state in a way that's like hard for them to interact with. Like, you're not worried about like Ristic Study or something, or they think about, or them having a big handful of counter spells. Like, you're like, yeah, okay, cool. I don't really give a shit. Right. Yeah. You're kind of like, sure, all right, yeah, go for it. Like, you really don't care, right? That's how you feel.
Yeah, like you're like joking about it, calling it the Denver secret tech, but like Logan, my friend Logan has been putting like Consecrated Sphinx and Rogsai. I put it in T&K. It got me out of Swiss like super easy. Just putting in these huge, like, it's both like a beater and it like absolutely like. It plagiarizes the mid game. Everyone's trying to draw cards, so you just draw more. Like,
I agree with you. That's why I like, what cards am I playing? I'm playing like, I feel the way about Hullbreaker Horde, just like splashy ass, big ass shit that's just like gonna just punish the people who want to take forever. Like, like, you don't they want to play forever? Don't let them play forever. Yeah. That's my opinion.
So how do you find that when you're like in games and politicking, you're like, hey, we have to start pressuring people's life totals? Like, you talk about the way you're utilizing communication in situations where you're a part of the 3 and the 3v1. Do you feel like it's easy to convince Sisay to be like, you need to swing out at Blue Farm? Or do you find that like you're having like your words are finding like deaf ears?
Well, I think like with somebody, I think like I like to identify. I mean, I don't want to feel like the threat. I'm in the camp of like Wounded, where like I will show people my hand because I don't want them to waste interaction on me when I really don't have anything going on. And if I really don't, like, it's good for the table. Like, it's not just good for me to get the heat off of me, but like I might play something where I'm like, yeah, I know this card looks good, but like but like, look at my hand. I truly have jack shit. And like, I'm only playing this because like, I know the Bowmaster's scared right now, but like, I will draw you a card off your Ristic so we can kill Kinnan right now. Like, that's the way I want to do it. Like, you want your spells to be in the best interest of the table. Like, if you have a Seedborn Muse, right? And some people just see Seedborn Muse and they're like, that card's scary. But you're just like, yeah, I will let you kill it. I promise. But just like, let me have it to hold up interaction when we're going into Sisay's turn. And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah. Like, that's kind of the politicking I believe in. Right, you're just like heads up about it, you know. Like Matthew had a really good thing the other night where he was like, I told the table to BTFO, but he had a good politic where he was just like casting. It's like one of my best friends, Dio, is like an excellent Sisay player, and he's one of those players who's like, I'll play Sisay and I'll tutor us up an answer. I'm like, no, you don't want Sisay tutoring. Like, they'll have an answer now, and then the next thing is going to fuck us up. Like, get a better deal than that. And I'm all about, like, you know what I mean? Showing spells. Like, if I have a path in my hand, I'm like, go for it. You do this, I will kill your thing. And then we don't have an answer to Kinnan. If you make me force, if you're going to do that, I will kill your thing. I will do it. So do you want me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you want us to like die to Kinnan? Because I will defend this. And now we're shields down. And I think like that kind of communicating is real. Like being like, and to say to people like, yeah, I want to find answers, but I need to advance myself, but I'm not pushing a win. And they are pushing a win. And be honest. And if they're not, don't bullshit. Just don't say anything is my best advice. I'd rather just be like tight-lipped than a liar. Because if you get known as a liar, then like you're politicking, you've lost the most powerful part of your game, which is your verbal part of the game.
Yeah.
So it's predicated on trust. So was not worth it.
What are like what is a consistent way that you have found of building that kind of element of trust? Because I definitely agree with you. I think like you need to be able to communicate that you're like reliable, that you're safe, that you can be trusted. And you need to do that before, like sometimes even before people start mulliganing, right? Like, do you feel like how do you do that, I guess?
How do I engender trust? I mean, unfortunately, it's not something you can build in one game. It's something you have to just build. If you're dedicated, if you're invested in this game and you're invested in this community, then like you have to it's something you have to build, you know, like I was in a game at Fishbowl, you know, and I was playing against one of the best NIV players, you know, Glacial Anthony Fields. He's like one of the best NIV players on the West Coast, and he hadn't played against in his meta. There wasn't a lot of like kitten decks, you know. It's just the West Coast, more turbo. So he was like definitely like playing control in most aspects of the game. And Kitten came down and it was wounded. He was really good at being like, he was like, I'll show you my hand. He's like, I have the Kitten. I have nothing else. I have no payoff. And I even said to him, I was like, all right, but like you have the Red Blast right now. And I'm like, I know he doesn't want you to, I know like Max doesn't want you to kill his thing, but I'm like, I'm just telling you anecdotally, I'm like, I've never won a game where we just let an unchecked Kitten run wild. I was like, I've never won that game. I was like, it's a sticky. And then once the Kitten's there, I'm like, he has a lot of things that can go crazy with the Kitten. Because, you know, he's a Nadu. And I was like, you don't want that Kitten to resolve, dude. And then Anthony's like, I really don't know. And I was like, all right. I'm like, I will show you my hand. I have nothing. And I'm like, I really think you should use your counterspell here. And it was an unfortunate game where he was like, he's like, all right, well, you know, maybe I'm a fool, but I'm willing to learn what'll happen. And we got cooked. We got totally cooked. And it was even worse because the Grixis control player, and this is in the top 16, he like, on his turn, he like necroed really deep and like didn't find it and then just scooped on his turn. And I'm like, oh damn. God. It just like made it worse for all of us. So then we're just like one man down against like a Kitten with a full grip. And I was just like, okay, we're fucking wrecked. Like, good luck. It was bad. It was bad. So that's some advice I would give is just like, but then it's funny is when I talk to Anthony now, he like will joke about it. He's like, dude, I ain't never letting that Kitten resolve. And like we can joke about it, but he learned something about me. He learned I was like telling the truth. I was like, yeah, like I'm not, I know other people are like, I don't lie in CH. I would tell the truth. Like, no, it's just like, you don't need to brag about that. Like, that's positive EV. Like, you don't need to like tell people you don't lie. Like, don't, you don't need to convince anyone anything. Make them believe it. Talk the talk, you know, walk the walk. Like, I was in a pod with a guy because word travels fast, you know, especially for me, you know, like I'm a known quantity in CDH. If I got a reputation, be like, oh, Gold, yeah, he's a good artist, but I wouldn't trust him, man. Like he lied to me. He told me he wasn't going for a win, and then he just like jammed Oracle Consult in their face, dude. And he's a good artist, but man, he's kind of a shark. Like I wouldn't fuck with him. Like that would travel fast. It's not worth it to me. Like I love this space. Like who cares? Like winning is not important enough to me. I'd rather be a good friend and a good competitor. So for that point, I was playing a Top Deck Invitational, and I know a guy, you know, and I wouldn't even say his name because I would hurt his feelings. But I did at the time where I said, like, you know, he was like, I'm just casting. This is the Doc said meta. He's like, he's like, I have I think it was, he's like, I'm going to use this Doc side. I'm only using this to just cast Tevish and pass. And I'm like, because somebody had like a spell snare thing for it. And I was like, you're just casting Tevish. He's like, just Tevish and pass. And I'm good. And then he like jammed a Kitten and cooked us and won on the turn. And I was so upset. I was like, oh my God. Like And that way you like you lie to get your spell to resolve. You know, and people be like, well, your opponents don't have your best interest involved. But I guarantee, like, you know, that word spread and people knew that, like, that trick worked once, but it won't work again because he can't use that. People won't believe him when he says, because that story went around. People are like, oh yeah, dude, Gold, I heard like you're playing blank. And he said he was just casting. Said he was just going to like cast Tevish and pass, and then he like jammed a win. And I was like, yeah. And people are like, that's fucked. And guess what? He definitely did not get away from it. He got a bad rap. You know, like, because there were some other people in the pod and we talked and we're like, yeah, dude, like it was kind of a scuffed game. Like we asked, you know, like that shit's real. You know, I was in a pod once where we thought one of our friends, said he was going, he was like, yeah, we're just like, he's like, if I, and I've done this before for other people where I'm locked for top 16. I'm like, and my friend needs a draw. I'm like, well, if I put a win on the stack, I'll offer the ID to you guys. And our friend was doing that. And then he got an opportunity to take the win and he just took it when we all kind of let him go for it. And it felt bad, you know, but I never forgot that. I never forgot that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff sticks with you, you know? Like,
yeah, and you know who's a liar, you know, and that's not a good reputation to have. It's a small community. It is in your best interest. You can't hide from that. You're not going to run into people that are like, oh, I played with Gold and he lied to me. Like you won't. You might listen to people say, I played against Gold and he cooked us. Or you're like, I played against Gold and he punted into a wall. But you're not going to hear people say like, he lied to us. It's not worth it to me.
Yeah. No,
it's a social contract. It's not worth it.
Yeah. So you talked about like kind of like, I guess, the use of information, right? How you feel comfortable showing people your hands. How yeah. I recognize it is, you know, unbelievably contextual. But, you know, let's just say you're in a top 16 game and someone else is making a win attempt. How do you decide how much to tell your opponents?
Or like if we're trying not to die to someone?
Yeah, like
it's all hands on deck. I'm really clear. I'm just like, hey, I'm like I'm a verbal person, so I'm like really clear. If I don't know, like I'd be like, hey guys, I'm not getting you. And it's good to get all the information out there because remember what we said. It's 3v1 always. You're either on the you're either on the 3 or you're the 1. When you're jamming, you're the 1. Otherwise, you're one of the 3. So I was like playing in a game and I'd be like, hey guys, like I do not know how Stella, like these Stella lines, I'm not very familiar. Like I'm like, and then someone would be like, oh yeah, no, one of my buddies, my locals, like he's a big Stella player. I'm like, well, what's the choke point? And they're like, oh yeah, and that's good to know because like, oh, I'm like, oh good, yeah, because I only have like fluster and that's not going to hit. It's not going to hit like the enchantment he plays. So like, right. And this one's like, well, I have Swan Song. And I'm like, well, then lead with Swan Song. Like, I'm confident, like, kind of like being like a team leader when we're like trying not to die. Like, I'm not afraid to do that. And like, just not saying I know all the information, but fishing for all the information that can help us. Cause you know, like sometimes like you won't know how to beat a deck, but someone at the table does. Yeah. There's gonna be some guys like, oh yeah, my buddy plays this deck, or oh yeah, my buddy plays a Nala. And you're like, good. And we're like, wait, do we counter here? And they're like, no. Like, just like, or you'll say, you know, like maybe you're playing like a Dothy and someone's like, oh dude, or like Dothy kind of shuts me off right now. I'm like, yeah, but like, we got to protect this Dothy because if the Dothy's gone, the Nala's just gonna win. And they're like, yeah, you're right. And then, so, you know, like that kind of talking's good. Like, oh, this card is marginally kind of pissing me off, but it's really shutting down this player. And I would say to him too, like, hey, unless you have an answer for a Nala, like, I think you just gotta let his Dothy hang, you know, or something like that. That's stuff I'm confident saying.
That's cool. That's interesting. Yeah, I think it's like
that's just me learning who I am as a player. You know, I wasn't, you know, right?
Yeah, like you're talking earlier about kind of like, you know, finding your voice. I think. And exactly what you're talking about. I think some players seem to do really well in that kind of like leading the conversational charge, as it were. And other players, I think they
are not.
Whether they just like
that's
make
okay.
Or that's just not their way of playing.
Yeah, and that's okay. No, it's about finding who you are, you know? Like nobody is going to be better at playing you want to play a deck where like nobody's and that's the way I am in like other formats. Like I've told you before, like I play like Yawgmoth in Modern, and I play Yawgmoth because like, not because it's the best deck, but I'm really confident with it. Like think about a deck like Crick. Like, is Crick the best deck? No, but if you are sick with Crick, it's the best choice for you. You know what I'm saying? Like finding those decks that are like the ones where like you just can really punch above your weight. And also like not draw like the ire of the table. That's a good deck to look at.
That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? Yeah.
And it's great that it sounds like it's been really working for you too, which is awesome to hear.
What, just like knowing who you are as a player?
Yeah, like because you said you've been making moves in top 16s lately.
Well, I've been doing well in top 16, but I'm finally converting, and I think it's just like it was like this with 60 card too. Like, you know, I've won a bunch of RCQs and stuff in 60 card. And one thing I would say is that like there was a while where I just like had a bunch of top 8s and couldn't convert. I had a bunch of top 8s and I was just like coming home empty handed. And then I don't know, like you know what it feels like to win, and then once you like know what it feels like to win, it's all mental. And then once you mentally know what it feels like to win, you're like, oh, I know how to win. Does that make sense? Like you need to experience minor successes to like, before you can like achieve a large success. So for me, so I think for a lot of people, so I think that for me, it was like really helpful. I was like, oh yeah, like I know what this feels like. And once I like won my first start, once I won one, I could win anyone then. Like I was back, or I was back for the first time. Like I felt way more, I was like, oh yeah, now I know what it feels like to be in the finals and to be the person. It was funny. It was totally a mental or energy based thing. I was like talking to my wife about it, where like I just was like in this game and I was like pretty far behind. I was playing against a bad matchup. I was like kind of like an Omnath pile, and I was on Yogg, and I was like, it's not a really good matchup for me. And then all of a sudden, like I swear in my mind, I just had this feeling where I'm like, oh, I was just feeling super behind. I was like, no, I'm not behind. And I was just like, I'm the guy who's just like drawing fire, and I'm always have it. I'm top teching like a fucking king, and my opponent's just like, God, he always has it. Like, nice fucking top deck, you piece of shit. Like, I was like, I'm that guy. Like, I'm not the guy who's being mad. I'm the guy who's like drawing like a god and like pissing him off. And like, I started like being like just like inhabiting that swagger, and it just started happening. I was just like,
yeah, actually,
everything
he got it.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, he was like, he's like on a holy heat. And I was like, endurance. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then it was just like, yeah. And I saw his frustration. And it was this feeling of him being like, he always has it. And I could feel him feeling it. And I was like, dude, I energetically changed that. Like my mind, I didn't have it until I had it in my mind. It was a cool feeling.
Bro, manifesting is like legit real, I think.
It really is. No, it is real. Like, I mean, it's real.
Yeah, like you mentioned when we were talking about Denver earlier, rock climbing. I used to rock climb for a little bit. I remember there was this one route I was super duper stuck on. But my friend, who was a really good climber, he was like, once you kind of fail at the same spot in the same route, you're kind of like in this rhythm, and not that you want to fail, but your body is kind of like practiced in this motion.
Yeah, your body knows how to fail, and yeah, exactly.
And so he was like, just stop, take a minute, close your eyes, and imagine what it'll look like and you feel like when you actually grab hold of like the handhold that you're trying to get. And like, as silly as it was, because I was just like, oh, it'll feel like
not silly at all.
It was crazy to me how much it like affected the whole rest of the route as well, because you just orient yourself towards success. And it made a really big difference.
100%.
The same can be true of CEDH. If you're going into games like, oh my God, I am so on the back foot against like this Tibet or whatever, like you're going to play like it.
People, right. And you hear people saying it sometimes too, don't you? Where people are just like, mulling the 4 again, or like something like that. And just like, dude, come on. Like, Like if you feel like you're always going to mow the floor, you're going to always fucking mow the floor, because part of you is like shipping like a reasonable hand, because there is a part of it that's just like luck, and you know what I mean? Like part of you is like setting yourself up for failure. You know, like I hate to say it, like I was talking to my brother, man, I feel like bad saying this, but like I love my brother, but like, you know, he's a successful pro wrestler, but like he's been encountering some, and he's had like some big matches, you know, he wrestled Danhausen and stuff, but he's just feeling stuck. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why. I'm like, just talking to you, like, you got to change your energy, man. Like you do have this kind of energy, like everyone, like my big break isn't happening. Like it's happening for everyone else but me. And like some of my friends who work in like comedy or film, they have like this, I don't want to hurt their feelings, but like I got a friend who's like a really good screenwriter. Like if you, I'd say you Google it and probably figure out who it is, but he wrote like Five Nights at Freddy's, and he's a guy I know, and he was one of the writers of it. And like he wrote it with his girlfriend, or she directed it and he wrote it, but like he found a way somehow, because his narrative tape that plays inside of him is that like everything happens for everyone else. I'm always getting overlooked. I'm the genius no one thinks about. Like that's like his tape, you know? And I love him, but he does this. He just has like big loser energy, even in the pits of success, even in like the throes of success, he'll like has this tape. And guess what? He found a way somehow, like the studio like found a way to fuck him over. So he made like no money on like a major film where he wrote the screenplay, because like they had to bring someone in to rewrite some part, and then like nothing. And I'm just like, dude, like way to snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat. There are people that will do that in Magic too. We're like, you know what it's like. Come on, you've been in like a game where like you're so far ahead and somehow another player's like clawing back in, and it's just like all of the momentum and the swag and everything is on their side, and you're just like helpless. You're watching the game fall away from you, and you're like, no fucking way. And you're just like, and it's like, it's if the table is just like totally tipped, and you're just getting your fucking ass kicked, and you're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's so frustrating, but that's real, man. That's real. Like, that's just like swag. Like sometimes you just got it. Like I'm successful right now because I feel successful. Like I don't mean it in like a braggadocious way. Like I just feel successful, and people are attracted to that feeling, and I have it, and that's it. Like I didn't always. There was definitely a time where I was like, my tape was different, where my tape was like, no one respects me. You know, like, I'm like, yeah, if I keep telling myself that, no one will respect me, you know? And then it's real. Energy is real, guys. The world is real.
It kind of reminds me of what you were talking about earlier. It's like the way you treat yourself teaches other people.
Yeah, it teaches them not through words, but just through example. Like if you treat yourself, you know, as if you're at the table and you bring this like you bring this kind of unsureness or this lack of confidence to your play, like people won't respect you in the game in ways that are really going to hurt you in the game. But which why it behooves you to even maybe take a tier 2 deck that you're super confident on. You will probably play better than playing a tier 1 deck that you are not confident on, you know?
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like I would like if I was like super confident at like playing, if I felt like I was just like fucking like just straight up, just swish, you know what I mean? Nothing but net. Every time I played like Naya Minsk or something, I would bring that. You know what I mean? Like that's why I hate when people are like, oh, what's the best deck for the meta? And not like you saying that. I'm saying like when people are like feel like they have to. I'm almost like 60 card. You know what I mean? Like I have to play it. And I think that like you can be realistic. Like the 60 card, the meta is so much more clearly defined than CDH. Like there are like certain decks that are there's like maybe you like this deck, but this is really not well positioned. Maybe find something that has a similar play style that has a little bit of better play right now, you know, because the meta is so defined. But I think in CDH, it's so wide open. You really can find something. We're not in a place where people are teching against something super hard. Maybe the only thing I would steer away from would be like Storm right now, because so many people are playing spell-based advantage engines. Maybe I wouldn't play a Storm deck unless you were just totally sick with it. Like, I'm thinking of someone like Snake, he's playing a really cool Storm deck. He's playing the Ral deck. Unless you're like someone like that who just has a deck where you're just like, you just ball out when it's in your hands, I would say yes. But unless you're that person, I would just play a deck that just, other than that, it's pretty wide open. Just play something that just like complements your strengths as a player, and it presents win cons that you're comfortable executing, and practice them. Like, I remember when I really wanted to get good with like intuition lines one time. I felt like I had a good intuition deck years ago. I like just watched some YouTube videos on intuition decks, on like how this really clear thing of this guy was explaining intuition piles, and I was like, oh, I get this now. I get it. And I just like had an aha moment. And then I was like, in my first game, I was like, I slowed myself down. Like one thing I've really helped me is like slowing myself down in a game. Sometimes I like speed up too fast, you know what I mean? And that's one of my things I got to work on as a player. I'm just like, no, slow down. Like, don't let what everyone's doing or saying, like, change my pace. Like, I set the pace of my play. And I'd say it to myself, I'm like, slow down. And I slow it down, you know what I mean? And I get where I want to be emotionally, and I, take a breath and then kind of refocus myself, and then I kind of execute my lines. But I did that after like studying these intuition lines, and it was such a success. It wasn't like a big tournament win, but it was a win in a game at a card shop years ago in Arizona. And I felt so happy that like I practiced it and I executed what I practiced.
Mm.
Now those things have become muscle memory. Now I want to, because fatigue will set in a tournament, you should have a deck ready where like the win cons are muscle memory.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a muscle memory with like, I'm really good with like Hullbreaker and Kitten lines. Those are muscle memory for me. Those ones feel really confident. Like, oh, like if someone like put like, if I sat down and I'd never played a deck before, someone's like, I'm like, how does this deck win? Like, oh, it's mostly just Kittens. I'm like, oh yeah. Hullbreaker. Oh yeah. Hullbreaker loops. I'm like, I'm sick with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good feeling. And that's why I'm really challenged by Catch from House right now. And I'm really like in love with it, because like the deck someone brought up that was like, oh, the deck this reminds me the most of is actually Corvault. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. It was really like my bugaboo. Like, I love those decks, but I'm so bad at them. So I really want to I'm like intrigued by this deck. I want to get better at it 'cause I'm not good at like my worst tournament runs have been on like different kind of like Jun Stormy decks, which I think are so cool. I think like Tihada's cool and Corval's cool. Mm-hmm. And I fucking suck at those decks, but dude, I think they're so cool though. I want to be good at them, man. I want to be good at them. I'm not, but I love them. Dargo decks too. I was in love with Dargo. I'm a big Dargo guy.
Yo,
dude. It's so real that you talk about that. Because I'm awful at Storm. I think it's really cool, but oh man, never give me a Storm deck. I will punt as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah, but they're cool, right? But you're like, but I think that's part of our growth. We should be attracted also simultaneously to things which are points of development for us. I think that's healthy to be attracted to those things.
Well, not to be a party pooper, I have some shit from chat. I don't think I've said anything for a half hour. You guys are doing great.
Oh, thanks.
I just went.
Well, it's mostly just Eric.
Eric, you've got the interviewer genes. It's true.
Oh,
you're awesome. You should, Cal, you should have a podcast. He has excellent questions.
That's what I'm saying. It's true.
I'm being serious.
Vinny,
I'm being serious. You got a good laugh too.
It's true.
Really fun.
Vinny, thank you for the gifted sub once again. We appreciate you very much. 2 in 1 night.
Dude, Vinny, we fucking love you, man.
Crazy.
Vinny, I'm so grateful for patrons. Like, Vinny is so positive and so kind and so generous and just like, and I want to give a shout out to Vinny. Vinny made the finals pod at his locals up in North Dakota with Tivit recently, and I'm just really proud of him. It's a lot of growth for him, and I'm really proud of him as a player. So shout out to Vinny, man. You rule, Vinny. You're a good guy.
Agree. Vinny does rule. Oh, it's been a minute. JM Goody, I assume you're still here. You're perhaps our most consistent stream watcher. I appreciate you very much. He has asked Tim,
what's up, dude?
Are there going to be chances to play with you this weekend? Are you pure business mode in Chicago?
Well, I am probably, my impulses are to be pure business mode, but please come pull me away for a game because I would like to do that.
Well, and I think the kicker is I don't think we're going to be able to do booth activities past like 6 p.m. and there's a lot of day left past 6 p.m. So
yeah, come find me. We'll set up a thing. I'll organize it on Discord or our Patreon. I'd love to play with y'all and see a lot of my patrons in real life. It's going to be so rewarding. It's my first big convention since we've really have taken the Patreon on the road. You know, shout out to the Patreon. We have over 500 patrons right now,
which is crazy.
Which is so. Dude, okay, talk about that. You just don't give up on this, dude. You make some content with your friends because, like, it creeps up on you. Like, I was telling Cal recently, I was like, oh, yeah, so-and-so, they're a big-time content creator, and I'm like a little baby bear. And Cal's like, what do you mean, dude? Like, no, you're not. And I, like, looked up and, like, came up for air, and I was like, wait, this person who I think is a big dog has like 1/5 the amount of patrons I have. I was like, holy shit, dude. I am a big dog. I didn't realize, you know, I was in the mines. Dude, what do you think of the forest, the coniferous forest on the back? They look fucking
inspired, dude.
Dude, this is crazy. I'm going to crank my own hog, but this is fucking sick.
Crank my own hog.
This looks so sick.
Hey,
I'm actually really loving it.
Tim.
Yo, what's up, bro?
What if we chained up Primetime?
Chained up Primetime? Is Primetime in this deck? No, there's no Primetime. Oh, we need it. This is a deck that would want Primetime, though. Is that like the joke?
Mm-hmm. It's so after they had that, like they released a bracket system, there was like a whisper of Primetime getting unbanned, and like 100 people in the Discord bought one. Me, myself included. We're desperate, man. We want it so bad.
Oh, this would be the best Primetime deck.
Mm-hmm.
Man, well,
dude, without a doubt.
Oh man,
you were saying you like playing stuff. You got to check it out, man. I think you might have a lot of fun with it. With this.
Dude, I would love. I have. Let me take one quick break. I'm gonna come up with it for air. Let me show you.
Yeah. He's coming up for air. This man's been cooking for nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
Blue Pidgey said, damn, I think this stream has convinced me to get a Sabertooth commission. Hell yeah. Email me, cal@caljones.com. Get your very own Bluetooth. Get your very own gold Sabertooth commission.
No, get your Bluetooth.
Get your Bluetooth here.
Of all good cards.
Hey, yo.
Oh,
what are you doing right now?
There it is, dude.
Like, 1 second. Let me go grab my tabernacle. Let me go best my power, though.
My tabby, dude. I'm picking up my bazaar in Chicago. I did a work trade with Monroe for a bazaar. So
most of that stuff's been like work trade stuff with propaganda, right?
Yeah, almost. I would say 90% of that is stuff I've gotten from propaganda for work trades.
Yeah, it makes sense. You've got a marketable skill.
Yeah, you can trade for power and tabbies.
Little is finished did say if you've got the tabernacle, the rest of the deck is like $20.
It's very true.
Tabernacle Bazaar I've got, so I'm ready. Dude, this looks so good, man.
If you want to know something that breaks up the mid game, the Tabernacle does it pretty well.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm on my new deck, Ketchamos. I was building it in like the Storm version. I was like, God, this is sucking. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I just need to I really like the deck as a pivot deck where I can like put the table under some duress. And I'm going to say something really bold. And I know you probably feel this way about like your deck where you're just like, oh, there's something here that I don't think people are paying attention to. I'm going to say this about Ketchamos. Like the cat's out of the bag in the other formats. Like, this card is insane. Okay, the amount of value that Ketchumos provides is on par with like Nadu, Orvald. It's way more value than like any other. Like, this is a card. Ketchumos is as singularly powerful as an engine as like Kinnan. Or more. I know it sounds insane. I'm not joking. It's that powerful. And people are like, oh yeah, people are like, oh, the colors suck. Like, dude, there's plenty of successful decks that are monocolored. You've got 2 colors, and 2 colors that are pretty good right now. Red is the only color that's really suffering right now, you know? But you're in pretty decent colors, and it sounds like hyperbole until you watch people play it, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't hyperbole at all. This is kind of fucked up. It's really kind of cool. So that's what I would say about it. So that's why it's intriguing. So I know how you feel about your deck, where you're just like, oh wait, there's something here, and you're like, dude, you're unique. You're on a land strategy in CDH. How fucking cool is that?
Yeah,
no wonder you guys are so hyped for this deck.
Thank you for the follow, Tim Suh, CAA. Oh, I missed it. Sorry, Rami. Tim yells boom redemption, please. We do also have a question from a few minutes ago from Vinny that I missed. Sorry, Vinny.
What's up, Vinny?
For you, Cal and Tim, how has Magic affected your thinking in life in general? Vinny, I literally have no clue how to answer that question because Magic the Gathering has been my main hobby since I was like 12 years old. So
it's made me a better communicator.
So it's probably affected almost every single way that I think about anything. It's dominated most of my mind space for 15 years now, 13 years, 14 years now. Tough question to answer. I think right.
But because it's hard to have some objectivity on something that you're looking out from. But I will say that a lot of people come to Magic for a desire to become, in some way, become a better communicator, become better at social situations. Like, I think Magic really helps with that, you know, because it is a game of like, we're attracted to like the puzzle of it, but it's not just a solitary game. It's a game played with others. So I think there's some desire to be a better communicator in this game. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. I will say, playing Magic has definitely made me, I think it's definitely made me a much more social person than I would have been otherwise if I had not started playing Magic.
Yeah.
Playing Magic really got me out of my house and meeting people at the game store. And, you know, kind of if you're playing it in person, even, you know, I started out playing a lot of limited and started out playing a lot of standard and stuff. That's where I played standard and limited and stuff for, I don't know, 4 years before I played my first Commander game, which is a great way to come up, let me tell you. Man, when you're in that environment, you pretty much just have to say hi to the person in front of you and sit down and have a little conversation with them, especially at like FNM, you know, it's different at like a bigger event or whatever, but you're at FNM. You go to FNM every Friday, you know, you see the same damn, you know, 15 people there every week. And then there's the people who are there once a month.
Yeah.
You get to know everyone. And it really can help soothe out the weirdness, you know, that you might have otherwise.
Yeah.
It really helped me out. I was an awkward kid for a long time. Magic really fixed that up. I don't know if that changes the way I think. I mean, it obviously changes the way I think, but you know.
That's a good answer, Cal.
It's such a social experience that I think it also like not only does it teaches a lot of like how to think like through like extemporaneous problem solving, but also just so much of it comes down to like, can you understand what people are telling you, and can you tell people things that they'll understand? Which can be like a really frustrating experience when it's not working. That kind of sucks. But if you have people who are like, yeah, well, like when you said that you weren't going to do anything, but you weren't going to show me your hand, that set off like every alarm bell in the book. Like, if you want people to trust you, maybe you need to give them a little information. And I'm like, oh wow, I never really thought of that before.
Dude, Logan, you got to make a podcast with this guy. He's great. Eric, you're killing it, man.
Dude, name the time.
You're good at asking questions, synthesizing information. You're doing
Dude,
great,
I'm
man.
born to yap, bro. My poor wife.
Oh, you're good, man. You got good yap and you got a good laugh. That's a good combination.
Thank
You
you,
ask
yeah.
good questions.
Apparently, I'm a heavy snorer too.
Oh, hell yeah. Sleep apnea crowd,
Man,
rise up.
I think that's one of the weirdest things about like me. Like podcasting is pretty much my preferred form of creativity these days, more often than not. That and writing, but man, it's so funny to me because I'm just like not a certified yapper. I am actually kind of like an introverted dude.
Interesting.
I do love yapping with people, but I don't know.
See, that's one of the most fascinating things for me because, like me, Jason, and Logan, for the channel that we're starting, we were recording like none of us.
What's it called again? Critical what?
Critical EDH.
Do you want to drop the? Do you have a link to it? You want to drop it in the chat so people can check it out?
Yeah, I'll let let me jump on it real quick. But one of our friends, Jay, I think he would be like a kindred soul to you, Cal.
Yeah.
He doesn't think of himself as much of a talker, but I am always endlessly fascinated because I think I spend too much time talking to make real observations. I can just like say what I've heard other people say that I think is interesting. But I think if you can get someone who doesn't talk a lot, if you can, however it is that you can either make them feel comfortable or help kind of like prime the conversation so that they feel like they have something meaningful to say. Oh, I always just love that. So, yeah, it's the, like, for instance, we were just building a deck list, like TNT, it's, not rocket science. But even still, I feel like he was just making a lot of observations. But yeah, I think he would definitely, speak of himself in a very similar ilk that you did, Cal.
I do love setting people up to yap. That's got to be one of my favorite things. Maybe that's why I enjoy podcasting, because a lot of my podcasting can just be setting up another person to yap.
It's the do you have like a preliminary? Because you mentioned you said with I think you said your other podcast was called Level Up.
Yeah, Level Up. Yeah.
You said you guys will talk for about 3 hours, but then only end up recording one. Is that because you feel like it takes that long? And that's only the amount of like usable content, or do you feel like it just takes that long to get in a place where you guys feel like you're kind of like synced up, you're vibing, you're both kind of like feeling each other's energy, you know?
Well, it's neither of those things. It's really just that Murph and I are really good buddies, but we're both so busy. We pretty much only really get to meaningfully interact during our dedicated, podcasting time. So we are just like, all right, hey, we're here to podcast. And we're chatting about the outline, you know, that we've already set up, but we're going over it. And then we end up talking about something. And, oh, we should really start recording the podcast. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's get back to this. And we keep talking. And then we end the podcast. And then we're just like, man, yeah, I've been playing Resident Evil recently. It's the first scary game I've really ever played, man. It's a little scary for me.
Silent Hill. That was a scary one.
I haven't played it.
Something a tradition is every Halloween playing one of those. If you guys know the Dark Anthology games, they're crazy. They're like a video game version of a horror movie. Like you're making like decisions and there's characters and stuff. And you can play the whole thing in a sitting of like 3 or 4 hours. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. I'm someone who I don't know what gene you have to like be able to sit through a horror movie and have fun, but I do not have it. Mm-hmm. But even still, Scaredy Pants and all, they're really fun games to play.
I've been trying to get.
Dude, Allie,
I've been trying to
hate scary.
Dude, they're crazy. Oh, Tim, I believe there was a specific request that Blossoming Tortoise have an amulet of vigor. That's my bad.
Oh, okay.
That's my bad.
No problem.
It's my bad.
You can do it.
Yeah, I know you mentioned some that you've played some that you cut your teeth on Modern. I've pretty much only played CDH, but I've heard that there's a deck in Modern right now called Amulet Titan.
Oh man, Amulet Titan has been one of like the Modern decks for a long time. It's so sick.
God.
It's a cool one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you think it's cool,
very cool deck.
We've got a lot of people who have come from Modern to CDH because like it's so easy to like. Apparently, if you know how to play, like you were saying, you automatically know how to play LUMRA.
So from what you've said of the deck, Prime Time in Modern does sound like it would be. It's such a funny deck, man, because you just like you put Primetime into play, you go and get your I forget what haste enabler they play these days. Is it Hanweir Battlements? I think it is. You go and get your Hanweir Battlements, and then you go and you attack, and you like go and get your. Man, what am I looking at? I pulled up this list. People don't even play.
Oh yeah, Hanweir Battlements. You're such a boomer. That's not even a real deck anymore.
People don't even play the plus X plus O haste land anymore. I don't remember what it calls. Yeah, dude, they still play Hanweir Battlements in this deck. It's crazy. How does this deck win now? If we're not just killing people with Primetime, I'm definitely missed something. It's almost certainly Valakut. Man, I assume the plan of the deck just had to change so much because you can play like Echoing Deeps now. You get Crumbling Vestige, just like a pretty decent card. They got Green Sun Zenith.
It's because LUMRA primarily wins with Sunscorched Desert.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how Anglo Titan does it. It's the Aftermath Analyst is a all-star.
Yeah, that definitely makes
That's
sense.
one of the best. That is one of the craziest uncommons.
That card's so wild. Oh, yeah. I missed it. Sorry. We have a specific request. GameStopper redeems. Tim's yells boom. He said I need the sound barrier to break.
How's that?
I heard, but so I think you did well.
Good.
Okay, so yeah, the land I was thinking of, it doesn't give +1. It doesn't give shit. It's Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. You pay Boros and a 2, tap it. Target creature gains double strike until the end of the turn.
Double strike, yeah.
Back in fucking my day, we played Sunhome and we killed people. Oh, okay. Pig next door. It makes infinite prime times with Mirror Pool. That totally makes sense. With 2 amulets in a prime time, you just win. Yeah, classic. Yeah, the deck also just wins with Mirror Pool. How about that?
Mirror Pool.
Mirror Pool is in? No way. Mirror Pool's in it now?
Yeah.
Mirror Pool is so cracked.
That is
No
recent
way.
tech in I remember Jerry T mentioning that like they just discovered they could play Mirror Pool, not that unrecently. That's so sick, man.
What's that? Wait, what is Mirror Pool for?
It is from Battle for Zendikar.
Zendikar, that land?
It is mythic, enters the battlefield tap.
Yeah.
You pay it can make a colorless. You can pay 2 and a colorless, tap it and sack it to copy target instant or sorcery. And then pay 4 and tap it, sacrifice, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature you control. That's crazy. And that's
forever.
That's also a bear staple, right? Mirror Pool?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because it sacrifices itself, creates a token copy of LUMRA, ETB goes on the stack, brings Mirror Pool back, and you just do it way too many times. Oh, dude.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
They got motorcycles.
Is it worth getting into? Like, if I've been mostly been playing CDH,
Modern?
is it?
Modern,
The one thing I would say about
man.
Yeah, but there's one thing about Modern that does. Modern can be fun. It can be. Find a deck you like. It's good to play something like Amulet or like Yogg or something like that, where it's like you're not just like playing Boros or Breach. Like you're playing like a deck you want to play because you like the play patterns and you're having fun doing it. Because otherwise, like things come in and out of vogue. So you gotta like. And the difference is like. It's CDH, like you can lose some games, but if like cool things are happening, you can have a good feeling. And it's like when you start playing competitive 60 cards, like it's a 0-sum game. It's like win and lose. It's just like you can play Magic all day and like go like 14-2 and like not make day 2, and then you're just like that was a fucking waste, and that's a bad feeling. You got to get comfortable with losing. I think CDH made me more comfortable with losing. Like I would drive down to these like big tournaments down in like Phoenix or Albuquerque or something. And I play Magic all day and I might win like 80% of my games. But if I don't like, convert or make top 8, and I feel like shit. Or if I make top 8, but I don't make the finals, I feel like shit. But meanwhile, like played a lot of good Magic, and it's such a zero-sum game in that regard that you got to come up with like set healthy measures of success for yourself. Otherwise, you could be really disappointed, as I would say.
Yeah, because I know that like I've heard that in like 1v1 formats, the games tend to go like way faster.
Oh yeah, way faster. A best of 3 match is supposed to fit inside of 60 minutes, and it often does.
What?
Yep,
it often does.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
No way, really?
Well, yeah. There's only 2 of you, and you only have 20 life, so it goes pretty quick. There are lots of 60 card 1v1 games that'll be over in 10 minutes, no problem.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's just the dynamics are so different.
I bet that
draft can be slow.
It also can definitely be slow.
But there's a time limit.
Is there like a quote unquote like stacks deck in Modern, or would that just be like control?
Not really.
Not really.
Modern is weird. It used to have a lot more like traditional archetypes present, kind of like rock, paper, scissors going on. But the Modern Horizon sets have kind of like blown
Horizon
up.
sets
And like the Modern Horizon sets are just like, every card is really good.
Every card is emblematic of a format. This is like a whole archetype.
This is really funny. Are you familiar with like the archetype Death and Taxes at all?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm following.
There is a kind of a Death and Taxes deck right now in Modern,
like the best deck,
which is really sick. There's an Orzhov deck that it plays Flicker Wisp and blinks a lot of stuff, and it plays like a bunch of like one of disruptive hate bear creatures. So there's not like
not anymore, dude.
I mean, it still does.
No. But I mean, it's just like it's got so many powerful 4-ofs. I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
But now it's just like because of Ketchermos. Now it's just like a Ketchermos.
Yep.
Like Overlord of the Balemerc deck.
Oh,
you're right.
Yeah, with Ketchermos. Yeah. I'm thinking pre. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a sick deck. Orzhov Blink. It's really cool.
Yeah, but now you just
That's
get
the closest.
They just like blinks Overlord of the Balemerc a ton and mill shit and returns it from their graveyard to the battlefield.
It's awesome.
It's an Orzhov Hate Bears deck, but the problem that those decks have always had is that they don't have enough card advantage. But Overlord of the Balemerc, every time you blink it, you get to mill 4 cards and then return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's Orzhov card advantage, baby.
And Ketchermos, which is basically
and
like
now Ketchermos.
which is like Orzhov Nadu.
Long Lemon asks, any idea when this will go up on Etsy for sale? Long Lemon, the answer is probably tomorrow afternoonish, when I can sit down and figure out the specifics of what I need to do on Etsy to come through with what I promised.
How many does a Discord want, Eric?
I think the number we had thrown out was 50-ish.
Okay. And those will be numbered for you guys, and then the rest of them we'll just put as a beta on the Discord. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah, Alec is in the Discord right now with the guys. So if that number is like massively off, please hit up the chat.
No problem. Just let me know the numbers, because no shit on the Tameshi guys, but they overshot on the Tameshis, and I got Tameshis on me right now.
It's I can't make any promises, but I think
just give me a good ballpark.
Me and Alec would probably purchase any extras left over. We're both pretty enamored by what it is you're doing.
Oh yeah, this has been a fucking blast. I mean, hopefully you guys are getting your money's worth. I'm really laying it all out for you guys tonight.
Oh, we're getting in spades, man. No, I think we had at least 25 people confirmed for the Playmat.
Awesome.
25 people contributed to the commission. So the assumption is they'd want to Playmat.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you guys so much. This is awesome. Somebody, who was it that hit me up at Buffalo? Somebody was like, don't think the LUMRA Discord. I think we want to go with the Goldsaber Toothpaste.
That was Lemon.
Somebody
it was
blonde.
Kevil Twins.
Long blonde hair.
I don't know how to pronounce that username. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it looks like Cult Wind or something.
Yeah, I always assumed it was Colt.
Colt. Oh, you're so right.
Colt Wind.
Look, I don't know how to pronounce these things. Colt Wind. Colt Wind is also the one who wanted you to sketch up their LUMRA artist print at the next Bufftown event.
Oh, Cult Wind 100%. 110%.
Okay, but no, here's something funny for you, Eric, as a CEDH player. They unbanned Mox Opal in Modern, and now by far currently the best deck is Underworld Breach combo at long last. Underworld Breach has finally become a Modern bannable card because they unbanned Mox Opal, and so it's Mox Opal, Mox Amber, Underworld Breach, and Grinding Station. What else do you need? It's just crushing Modern right now.
That's so interesting to me that that was the card that made it viable. That's so interesting. What was kind of like stopping it beforehand?
They just didn't have good enough rocks. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because every other rock is banned, you know?
Yeah, like every other cheap rock is way too... Oh, yeah, Tameo, especially being a really good Mox Amber enabler.
Oh.
Because now you have enough, because now you have Ragavan plus, what's her name? Emery.
Yeah.
Before
Emery
you just didn't have another...
Yeah, it like... Tameo being a good one drop made Mox Amber basically a second Mox Opal at long last without like sacrificing card quality.
Because Tameo is just so good.
What's something that like really, really works in Modern that doesn't quite translate to CDH, but you guys really wish it did?
Oh man.
Tameo.
What'd you say?
Tameo. I said Tameo.
I just think like
she's awesome.
I just wish we could in CDH. I really do wish we could play something that wasn't just like a combo win as much. Cause like just by the sake of, there's no aggro. I know. Like no aggro. There's just like, there's no combat does not matter 95% of the time in CDH games. And that's something, it matters in that, you got to hit someone to draw cards off your Timna. And getting a couple hits in on that Ad Naus player can make a meaningful difference in what, if they cast Ad Naus, what it would look like. Right. But like pretty much every, the vast majority of games in Modern and that kind of stuff are like, I'm going to play a 1-drop and I'm going to hit you with it. And I'm going to play a 2-drop and I'm going to hit you with it. And then I'm going to play a 3-drop and I'm going to hit you with it. And the decks do stuff past that, right? But that is something, it's just something that's kind of missing. Which is like, I was always annoyed as hell when I had to play against Winota because the deck operated on such a different axis that I had to think about how I changed about CDH when I was playing against it. But it was nice to have like a CDH deck that would go to the combat step and you'd be worried because they were going to dome you for your meaningful amount of your life total, right? And that I think that's something that is, in my opinion, kind of missing. That is definitely very present in most other Magic formats. But you think about it, like
if Delver. Think about Legacy.
If you're against,
there's no Delver.
What were you saying?
I just think of like Legacy. Like there's no Delver in our format. You know what I mean? In Modern, there's like Boros energy. Like in Legacy, there's Delver. There's no analog. Well, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even like the red prison deck, there's no analog in CDH. And I wish there was.
So really I guess for further context, Eric, like in Legacy, which is, the really old 60 card format where you can play everything that isn't on the ban list. And the ban list it's pretty extensive, but for a very long time, the best card in that format that you build entire decks around is a 1-drop 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library, you can reveal it. If it's an instant or a sorcery, you transform the creature and it just flips into a 3/2 with flying. And like, that's what the game is. That's like what tons of Legacy matches are built around, is like people protecting or being able to kill a Delver of Secrets. Just that's like, crazy. I'm going to hit you with a 3/2 with flying. I'm going to play a second Delver that I'm going to hope to flip, but I don't need to flip. And I'm going to pass back to you. And do I have a counter spell? It's for you to figure out.
That's crazy to me.
But it's just like in a world where you only have one opponent and you only have to deal 20 damage versus a world where you have 3 opponents and you have to deal a total of 120 damage. And most Magic the Gathering cards are balanced around the idea of dealing 20 damage to one person in a reasonable time frame. It's like a completely different world.
That's so true. That's so interesting.
Yep. Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm sure it has to so drastically change the way you evaluate cards.
You have to think about combat so much more.
Yeah, because I feel like for the most part, you're right. You either think about in CDH, you either think about combat in these kind of like pingy ways where it's like, oh, like a Timna or like a Grim Hireling or a Professional Faithbreaker, or you think about it once someone has like basically gone infinite, but nowhere in between.
Yep. And like in between my Temur Pirates era and back to my Obnix era, I did spend a lot of time playing Najeela, and that was like the one thing I did like about Najeela is that Najeela is like the one, a pile of good stuff deck where there are also games where you can just like win games by making smart attacks and that kind of stuff. But it's just because you suddenly have 50 warriors or whatever accidentally. It makes that that thought, that calculus a lot different.
Yeah, that's so true. So do you think there's a way for like CDH to kind of like quote unquote recover the combat phase? Or do you think
the combat step?
Yeah. Or do you think that just because of
I think it like outside of something as purely obnoxious as Winota or like Najeela, and Najeela the fair way isn't that good of a plan, right? I think it is literally just like having 4x giant bowmaster having a 6x the amount of life total that you have to remove the game is pretty tough. Elevere is another deck that Littlest Minish. Elevere is another really good one. I think that can play in that same space too. Murph said, I attack with World Gorger sometimes.
Base.
Murph is re-gotten his CDH spark back a little bit. We've been brewing up kind of a crazy Grixis World Gorger list, and by we I mean him. And he says, "What do you think about this?" And I say, "That looks pretty sick." He's doing good work. Hey, World Gorger plus Surveil lands based. Based. Chat loves the little Coke Bear insignia.
Oh, thank you, Chad.
They're really into that one.
What a wild way to mill yourself out,
right?
That's insane, man. Who's the commander for it?
Murph, who is the commander for it? I think it's literally Rogzai now, right?
It makes sense. You just get access to so much fast mana.
Hey, Lamora, what's up, Matt? He said, based on getting your board exiled.
Hey, Matt, we're just shouting out your beating us up on Magda earlier. I was saying, like, getting your Magda to resolve, and I was going to give your friend the Felford Again award because we kept losing.
JM Goody did also say Tivit being a 6/6 with flying and ward 3 is such a good body to just beat people with. It's true. I have lost large amounts of my life total to Tivit over my time.
Dude, so true. I feel like Crom is one of those things where I never expected Crom's like power toughness to be relevant until I was in a game that was kind of stalled out. And exactly like you're talking about, Tim, we're all waiting for someone to make the first move and swinging out for 4 damage. It doesn't really count as the first move until you've done it like 6 times. And now they're like, I can't let this happen. I have to win right now or I'm going to die to this zombie wizard.
It's true. I think that's one way to kind of break the stalemate of like mid-range hell is like force people to push. We're like, well, I don't want to push. Like, I want all the time in the world, but like, I'm under duress. The other way I was thinking about was like a card like Gonti or Edric or Brina that incentivizes people to start swinging. Prey off their greed, and then you benefit more. Like you play the one card I really like that makes you attack people and kind of what makes you want to play attackers is I really like Rev the Tithe Taker.
Oh, Rev's wild, dude. Is Brina the Is it
Brina the Demagogue?
Yeah.
That card is cool. That card is very cool.
Dude, that's you, Cal. You're a demagogue.
A demagogue? Wow.
Yeah, dude. It's I think it's a
You're
term,
Demipog.
it's a term used for like Greco-Roman orators, I think.
Oh, yes, it's true. I just Googled it right now.
That's what you are.
Dude, that's it. I wonder if that's going to be like. I feel like that's one of the things that makes Tivit kind of like perennially relevant. Is that like not only does it like take advantage of like the Esper shell really, really well, but also, boy, is it good at giving people bloody noses? Like, holy shit.
It's true. It really is true. They can't just get attacked forever. That's why I really hope that Bowmaster never gets banned. It's so good at just like, I love it because it really just like can make a game short. You know, it can really just be like, well, there's a fucking 19 orc army over there.
I gotta step away for a third time. My wife just got home. Gotta go say hello.
No problem. So
she's coming.
Let's give me a list of some staples. Let's start throwing them in so we can wrap this up. Let's get all the font based stuff. And now that we've got our information based aspects, let's get some of the
Heimer specifically.
the font in here.
Let's go. Well, let's see. We got the Blossoming Tortoise. 6 is another big one. 6 is kind of like a shy though. They're both trees. I think that was the Happy Tree Friends thing that people were talking about. Another one is some people are on Emrakul.
Dang, this looks dang good. Oh, my cat. Chip, you gotta get out of here.
Chip. In the chat, we have people saying Vesuva, Mirapool, Zoran Orb.
Oh, yeah. Zernorb. This could be our Zernorb.
Mirapool, I already said that. Ashaya. Murph said, I love Happy Tree Friends.
Tabernacle's good. Shifting Woodlands is also another good one.
Sylvan Safekeeper. Man, how many staples can one deck have?
Well, it has 52 lands.
52 lands. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's my kind of CDH deck right there.
Yeah.
Vigilance, Reach, Mill 4. Return all land.
Bring a certain amount of too many lands to the function.
I think I have like one of the concept arts or whatever this treatment is called. LUMRA's laying around somewhere. I forget what that treatment is called. Yeah, I think I opened it at pre-release.
Timeless Witness is another one.
Timeless Witness is awesome. Eternalize has got to be one of my favorite mechanics of all time. But that's just because I came up as an Amonkhet boy.
Oh yeah, it's one of those mechanics that just like got used a few times, and they were like, well, you know, we used it 4 times, and that was enough for us.
Mm-hmm.
Life from the Loam is another one.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's why I'm telling you, dude, you would put your Bazaar to work.
Oh, dude, I really, really want to play a Bazaar deck in CDH.
Crop Rot's another big one.
Oh yeah, Crop Rot's excellent.
Which deck in the format right now do you think best takes advantage of Crop Rot? Is it Kinnan?
No. The best takes is Rogstrass.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Because I think it's the best Cradle deck.
Dude, Derevi Enjoyer's in shambles.
Gib. Come on, girl.
Lotus Field's another big one.
Life from the Loam, Crop Rot. Yeah. Oh, you know what we got to do? We got to make his eyes this crazy color. We're going to add this to him.
Dude, you're cooking, dude. love that little hat that they've got too.
Oh yeah, you gotta add. It's not a GOLDSABER thing without dumbass hat.
Yeah, Sunscorched Desert and Mirror Pool are really big ones.
Let's get him.
Oh,
Let's
no.
get this.
Oh, a little snot too. Hell yeah, man.
We're cooking, dude. Cooking. This looks good. Yeah. This looks awesome. I really like how this turned out. So let's go back to here. Let's think. We want crop rot in here. Yep.
It's like the perfect shade of green.
Oh yeah. It's very verdant. Crop rot, Vesuva, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Command beacon is important, right?
Oh yeah. See, you already
Killer
know it,
engine.
man.
Killer engine.
Oh yeah. One phrase that's a little goofy is people whose plan is to turbo the bear out. They're called people who have a bear and a prayer.
Bear and a prayer.
Bear and a prayer strategy. That's what the turbo players are called.
Then we got to put spelunking in here. Can I get a spelling on spelunking?
Oh, I got you, King. It's SPELUNKING.
Just like that. But where's the umlaut go? Is there umlaut on it?
I don't know if there's an umlaut. Let me check. No, I think you're good.
Okay. Spelunking. Vesuva. What are some other?
Mirror Pool.
Mirror pool.
Low-key Lion's Eye Diamond is a really big part of the deck, actually. It's like it's a better Jeweled Lotus, weirdly, because you want as many.
I believe it.
You want as many cards in the graveyard as you can.
Oh,
I mean, we would take Jeweled Lotus getting unbanned. Sunscorched Desert's another one.
Blue Pidgey said, "Don't fear the man who has drawn 1,000 letters. Fear the man who has drawn an ampersand 1,000 times." Which I assume is Tim. Uh-oh. What happened to Tim? Where'd he go?
I'm here. I'm just in the zone.
Hey! You have to respond to every word I say.
Dialed in.
I'm locked the fuck in, dude. Just locked.
Another one is Tato Farmer.
We gotta put. What's the dude? Gosh, I can't do his name right now. He is really important to the deck. He's an uncommon we were just talking about. Aftermath Analyst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys. What else we got? What
What if one of the people is farting? No, I don't know. Someone said Sunscorched Desert, please.
Oh yeah, we need that. All right, Nissa's farting. Are you happy?
No, I'm not happy.
Little fart club.
Too bad. Yeah, we gotta get a fart. We gotta get our farts in here. Is sunscorched one word or is it hyphenated?
I'm pretty sure it's one word.
One word.
Checking for you.
Yep.
Yep. It's one word. It really seems like it'd be hyphenated.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Sunscorched.
It seems we have
Yes.
one final major request, which says draw an ugly little tomato that says try one. They're disgusting.
What's that about?
It's a card called Tato Farmer from Fallout. It's kind of
Really?
Yeah, it's a meme in the Discord. We keep trying to talk ourselves into putting it into the deck, but it's too bad to actually make it. I feel like every deck has those cards, right? You add it and then you immediately cut it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know what Ketramos's Tato Farmer is.
Murph said, I'm a fifth of the way to the Cal GameCube show and tell. Now I'm so excited. There's another person who was saving up for that. I don't remember who.
So wait, it's a potato or do you
Tomato. Ugly little tomato.
It's a tomato even though he's a potato farmer?
No, he's a Tato farmer, which is a messed up tomato. Oh, food chain. Okay. We've got food chain request as well.
Is the tomato farting?
No, he's thinking.
Local.
Sometimes I try to think.
Local disgusting farting tomato.
Try one, they're disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Which is the flavor text of Tato Farmer. 3-drop 1/4 landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you may get 2 rad counters. Tap, put target land card in a graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control tapped. Of course, for those of you who do not remember, rad counters. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, if you have any rad counters, mill that many cards. For each non-land card milled this way, you lose a life and a rad counter. Classic.
Have you ever made like a typo that like was published with?
Oh yeah. Oh, great one. Yeah. My GOLDSABER t-shirts say GOLDSABER instead of gold. And then my GOLDSABER Club playmats say GOLDSABER Club. But we did catch it, but then it was so funny we kept it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, they're the GOLDSABER Club.
GOLDSABER.
So stupid. GOLDSABER Club.
Field of the Dead's another big one. So I think some people talked about maybe.
Oh, I love Field of the Dead.
A little emotion lines. This is incredible, dude. I also am gonna want like a table-sized version of this that I can be buried in.
That'd be pretty sick.
I'm so happy they could do this for you guys.
DMOC, thank you for the subscription.
Oh.
After I use this playmat, I'll never wash my hands again. Wait. Let me see, Alec. What were some other things that we talked about? I know Guy's Cradle was a big one. There's like Delighted Halfling, more affectionately known as Dilfling.
Dilfling.
You never heard it called that?
No, it's funny though.
No, you can have that one for free, dude. That one's on me. Dude, the Lord of the Rings set was so cracked.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Bowmasters, One Ring, Dilfling.
I loved Flat Halfling. It's a cool card. What the hell is that?
That's such a cute little Tato.
Oh yeah.
That's a really pretty smile. When he smiles, I smile.
We got Murph said, I'm headed home now. Thanks for doing this, Tim.
Hey Murph, thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate your work. Nice to see you here tonight, man. Thank you.
Hey Murph, see you when you get home. For our podcast recording. Talking about conquering your backlog. A problem every gamer struggles with.
What are some other ones we were talking about?
Let's see.
Man.
Give me 5 more. 5 more.
Oh my gosh, 5 more.
Mana Bond.
Mana Bond. Oh yeah, dude. Then you usually play Legacy Lands. Mana Bond's a big one.
Food chain.
You got it.
Springheart Nantuko.
Oh yeah.
Little insect boy, little insect guy. Is he a monk? Yeah, he's a monk.
Yeah.
Springheart, a man of the cloth.
We also have Free Our Boy.
Oh yeah.
LUMRA's EDH Tier 1 with the addition of Primetime.
Oh, you should put Tabernacle in there somewhere, dude.
Or Tabby.
But only if you're gonna put it in your Tabernacle. If only if you're gonna put it in your version of LUMRA.
Of course I am. Tabernacle. Right over here.
That's really interesting. Oh, it's so pretty.
There's some other ones we want to get. We got two more, gang.
Did we put Free Our Boy on there?
Free Primetime, Free Our Boy.
Free Our Boy. We've got multiple people saying that you blew their expectations out of the water, Tim.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Drew, I don't know if you've done this already, but could you do an updated poll in the Playmat channel to see like who all wants one, just so we can give a more accurate number?
Jay said, I don't play this deck and I'm buying this. There you go. I think that's about as good as it gets, right? And it looks like
the good part is you make a.
What'd you say?
That's the best when you can like make cool art and it becomes an ambassador for like a cool deck, you know?
Exactly. And it seems like if we need one more, it is Echoing Deeps.
Echoing Deeps?
Yep.
Sure. Let's do it.
We have Ryujin Tar saying, I am now building this deck due to the mat. There you go.
Thanks, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Hop in the Build-A-Bear Discord. Dude, I cannot get over how pretty that shade of green on like the slobber and stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think we should run it up here. Oh yeah, that looks right. And almost. I think I know what I want to do.
Dude, I still can't believe you were able to like get all the hits on there. I love that. I love the Coke Bear thing too.
Oh yeah, it's funny, huh?
Yeah.
It's like the Coca-Cola.
Ricola or something.
And I think the way we could do this too is we'll make it an Etsy listing, and then I think this is what I'm going to do. This I told Cal, I'm going to give a promo code just to your Discord, and that way you guys can, when you order it, you guys can get 10% off of yours because you guys all crowdsourced it, so it'll give you a good chunk of your money back.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Super appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So because you guys brought this to us, and then you'll get the numbered ones, and I'll know that way. I'll know when I
I'm gonna work with them to make sure they can get the number ones they want. I'm gonna get it all set up, Tim.
Dude, you're
okay. Cool, because that's too hard for me to do. Yeah, that's the thing that I kill myself doing.
You don't worry about getting this put on Etsy. I'll figure it out. I've been doing the research.
Okay.
So we can get these people the numbers they want, and then it'll just all be in Etsy for you, no problem. I've got it handled.
Thanks, dude.
You just got to send me the high res file. And your emoji selection.
Did we
I'll write the copy. What's up?
I said, I'm pretty sure we did. Did we get Cradle in there?
Oh yeah.
Dude, Cradle and Field of the Dead should not be allowed in the same game, but it is.
But it is. Oh, this
is incredible, dude.
Good.
Love you.
If you've ever been asked to do like secret layer stuff.
I have, but I still haven't. So there you go. Sucks to be wizards. Good to be me. Yeah, this looks.
Don't worry.
Good.
With enterprising young Cal Jones as your agent, and by agent I mean minion.
By minion, you mean good old pal.
By minion, I mean good old pal, and by good old pal, I mean paw.
Good old corn dog.
Good old corn dog. Hey, everyone in chat loves this, Tim. We've got thank you, Tim. You're a gift to the community. Love this. Thank you so much. Stop. You don't need to stop. I'll pay whatever. Just take my money. I would love this to be one of the fuzzy mats. The Coke Bear is so good. Love the color pop. Oh my God. Phenomenal job. This is the sickest art I've ever seen. It's so good, buddy. Amazing. This is so freaking cool. They're just popping off now.
Love you guys.
Now I'm just encouraging them. The more comments I read, the more everyone's got to get in their own comments.
Oh, dude, this is awesome. Well, thanks, everybody.
Keep up the compliments, chat. I may like this more than your Magda mat. Whoa. High praise from a Magda player right there.
Whoa.
Oh damn! I think a fucking ad roll just started playing.
Oh my God, that S, bro!
I mean, the cool S. So the last thing I wanted to add to this was
that's an S that makes me want to lose the game.
Oh yeah, that's a good S. This feels good. I really love this deck, man. The Build-A-Bear Discord. We gotta put you guys in here.
And you can't forget the border either.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put that in one second.
It's the we just finished getting like reaction roll set up. People who are new to the Discord are called Bear Cubs, and people who just want to hang out but don't want to like play CDH are called Care Bears.
Dude, we love it. Love it, dude.
There's too many bear puns to be made with the amount of time.
Dude, in our Discord, our Patreon, we're called the Saber Cup. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Not Saber Cubs. Interesting.
The Saber Club is only for this. That's the Saber Cub Club.
You Dude, you've I don't know how you've been doing it. You've basically been drawing straight for almost 4 hours now.
How you guys know I'm the real deal?
Dude, you were not kidding about being a workhorse.
Yeah, I really love it. I mean, and this is the last thing I'll tell you. If someone was talking to Conor McGregor and they're like, what is it? Why are you so talented? And he's like, I'm not talented. I'm obsessed. And I always think about that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I am kind of obsessed, and I'm it's kind of fucked up. It is also, and I think at the source of most people's power is some sort of, it's like what Cal was talking, it's some sort of deficiency. It's some sort of pathos or something where I'm what am I doing? Why am I doing this so much? Why do I spend so much time doing this? But something good is coming out of it. It's blessed my life.
Absolutely.
Even my students today, I was teaching today, and it just told my students, I'm just you can draw. This is in one of my literature classes, and I just got some paper out. My students were just loving just drawing while we were watching this video. They were having such a good time. Build. I wrote build a build. Look at that. Way to go, Tim. Build a build. Ooh, look at it. You're how does he do it? How is he so good at typos? There you go.
I didn't even
good. There's a good story of my grandfather was doing a thing. My brother's house is my grandfather did this big silk screen banner. I don't know for who it was for. It might have been
they named the Discord now.
Dude, the build a build. He was my granddad. I can't remember if it was the Brooklyn Dodgers or something. And he did these huge banners for them, and he wrote champions on it with no P. So he was always telling my dad, champions. He's dude, just always double check.
Sometimes stuff like that is better than if it were spelled correctly. Especially, I feel like anyone's ever played. If you know what quiplash is, misspelled words always kill it there.
Oh yeah.
What's quiplash?
It's this people are given prompts and they have to give silly answers in response. So the prompt will be what's the worst Christmas gift to get? And so one person will say your mother's ashes, and then the next person will try to spell your mother's ashes but spell it wrong. So it'll say your mother's asses. It kills every time.
Oh, we had one more tiny little request that I do think makes sense, Tim.
What's that?
A tiny little bit of the. Oh wait, no, never mind. They were asking about a light green highlight around the trees, but they kind of already have that because it's just the same as the background color, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I'm misinterpreting.
All
right.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to drop out this layer, I'm going to take this, merge down, I'm going to merge down. So we have one layer now. And I'm going to take it, we're going to shrink it a little bit, put a nice border on here. Might stretch it just a little bit, not too much. A little bit. Still looks good. There we go. And then we'll take this dark color and then we'll just work in a nice border around this. I forgot to sign it. Sign this baby. Can't forget that.
Dude, that's like the most important part.
My dad would always say, he's like, don't forget to sign your word.
Did you like choose a signature and then practice it, or have you just kind of always had one?
No, it just kind of evolves, you know. And now I kind of like, now I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But the best way is let your signature. I've had different signatures over the years. I feel I really kind of honed in on one that I like the shape of it. How I could do it in my sleep. Something about it I really like. I like the shape of it as a whole.
I'm jealous of my dad. His name is T, like literally just the letter. I'm not shitting you. It's just T.
Not TEE.
Nope, just the letter T. It's been the oldest son in the family way back has been T. So he always just writes the letter T and then
awesome.
a shit ton of scribbles.
That's awesome.
That's sick, dude.
I was always so jealous.
My friend's dad, actually, no, I made a joke, but my friend Bradley C. Aldridge, he's named for his dad, and his dad's name is C. So, you know what I mean? Like, it must be like an old timey thing.
Gotta be something like that.
Dang, this looks cool. Fuck, that looks cool.
Nailed it, man.
And I think I'll sign it right over here. We're going to do it reductively. Love it.
Perfect.
Love it.
Oh, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, this is so sick.
It's my pleasure. All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, hey.
I'm going to send this to you guys right now.
Thanks for coming by, everyone. Thanks for watching the stream.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, gamers. Josh popping in the chat right at the end. Flashback 1 year ago, MC Chicago. Cal introduces me to the one and only legendary Gold Saber Tooth. Cal substantially less legendary. Uh-oh, don't say that around Tim.
Wait, what?
Don't say that around Tim. Hey, Josh, I'll see you this weekend. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I got to find my OBS. Bye-bye.